And welcome back everybody to night 2 of the Reliable Education Accelerator. I hope you guys are locked and loaded and ready to go for an extraordinary evening. So before we get going tonight, I just wanted to say a huge thank you on behalf of all of the Reliable Education team and also the people that came on and spoke last night. You guys lit up the comment section in Facebook, and that means so much to me. Udi contacted me this morning, just one example, saying how blown away he was by not only the quantum of comments, but just the quality and the outpouring of gratitude. It really just makes our job at Reliable of curating great people to bring value to us all so much easier when they have a great time. And so I wanted to just start by acknowledging you guys out there around the world tonight, and just let's keep that rolling tonight. Let's drop the comments in there. Let's keep the fire, the passion, the community going, because it really does bring so much joy and fulfillment. Eric, last night he left going, that was the best fun I've had in a long time, because he hasn't been in the spotlight before, and you guys really made him feel at home. Guys, tonight we have an extraordinary evening planned for you. You thought last night was good. Well, tonight we're going to push and push and push a little bit further. And I want you just to take a moment, no matter where you are in your day, no matter where you are in the world, I want you to just take a moment to get in the moment, because it is a rare gift to yourself that you have created the time and the space and the intention to learn, to grow, to expose yourself to new ideas, to be here in the room. Although we are separated by space and time, we are united in our intent here to grow and get the most out of this incredible, unlikely scenario that we are living and breathing as we fly around in outer space in this meat suit. So I want you guys to really take a beat, let the day disappear, forget what's happening with the border closures, forget what's happening with the border openings, forget what's happening with politics and the stock market, because you are about to embark upon a roughly 2 hours of the most important work that we as people can do, and that is to think and to learn and to listen and self-reflect and try to dig a little closer to our higher potential. And tonight, I want you to know that that is my intention tonight, is to help you guys. It may be tonight that you hear one sentence, it may be one idea, it might be one thing that clicks inside of you, that all the tumblers that are in that lock that you've been trying to crack and pick and work through, all those voices in your head, those moments of self-doubt, those times where you've had an idea and then you didn't need a hater to come along because you crushed it yourself, right? That's the puzzle and the riddle that we try to solve here at Reliable Education, is to help you get the tumblers to line up. Because the remarkable thing about human beings is that when we make a real decision, we can literally change who we are so fast if we decide to. I want you guys to consider the possibility that at the end of tonight, something falls into place for you, that you'll be walking down the street in a week from now and you're unrecognizable to the people who know you best, because something shifted in you. And when these shifts take place, the reason they take place is because you've chipped away, you've chipped away, you've chipped away, you've showed up with intention to learn, to grow, to reflect. And tonight, we are going to do just that. We've got one of my very dear friends, Raj Jain, are going to be joining us from Texas. Raj has been through an amazing year. I'm so excited to bring him back to the Reliable Education stage in his 20s, and has built a over $4 million US a year business that started with a coffee grinder on Amazon. He's prepping to sell at the moment for an 8-figure exit. We're going to talk about what he's doing, how he's doing it, how he's optimizing for a 5 to 8 times multiple on his business. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of other stuff. We've got Angela here tonight, who I've known for, 15 years maybe now. Might be more, 20 years. I don't know. We're getting old, Ange. I don't know how long it's... God, I can't even see you right now because I'm going blind. Angela's been around the trap. She's going to be on set live here tonight as well. We're going to bring Haley back in a moment. We've got so much good stuff planned for you. But particularly with Raj tonight, because Raj is an example in my own life where some of the mindset stuff that I talked about with you last night when I talked about the double-double concept, it was through applying that double-double concept that I got to meet Raj. And I'll tell you the story a little bit later this evening and how all these moments of providence happened in my life through small but significant decisions that back at the time they were happening, I wasn't sure why, but all these years later, I'm sitting here on the set and I'm bringing Raj in, and he's going to add so much value to your life tonight. He's been through an incredible year, as you'll hear. You know, he's been through COVID himself personally, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff going on in his life. So I am really excited here tonight because what I love most about these guys is there's always going to be a mix of how to, but what really matters is the why to. And tonight, I really want to give you a mix of both, because it's not like you are short of the latest hack or strategy or tip. You're going to get those, but what I'm hoping to shift in you in my little sessions is you just redefining and repositioning how you see and think about yourself. Because when that happens, that's when the real needle-moving change is going to happen, when you can enter 2021 with a whole new identity. And you've got the vehicle, you've got the infrastructure, you've got access to the people. Raj is going to tell you tonight, because I've already done the pre-interview with him, he's going to tell you he's open to looking for partnerships right now. Eric, who was here last night, is openly and actively looking for investments, right? The thing that is stopping you from this next level move in your life is you. It is you. You are in the community. You've paid the price of admission. You've got the education. There are people around you in this community that are way more successful than I was in the Amazon business because they got educated faster than I did, and they're probably better at it than I did. You've got all the tools. The only thing between you and the success that you are seeing out there is where you see yourself. And I want to shift that, and I want to shift you tonight from somebody who's passively watching, eating popcorn, to somebody who is seriously considering the prospect of seeing tonight as the day that they put a circle around in their calendar and say, that was the night my life changed, because I learned something that shifted me, who I am at the core. And if you come in with that intent tonight and you listen with that intent, I have a sneaking suspicion that you may very well find what you're looking for. So with that said, before we kick off into some of the great stuff we've got tonight, we've got young Sam joining us from Sydney, who created an $800,000 equity company within 4 months. What an extraordinary example of the bumblebee who flew when he didn't know that bumblebees couldn't fly. He just did it. He's going to be with us tonight as well. You know, sometimes just leave the ego at the door and let an 18-year-old teach you some of the stuff that us cynical old bastards, you know, make too hard and too difficult. Instead, you just go and do it. So he's going to be joining us soon. But before all of that, we're going to bring back to the stage tonight for about 10 minutes, Hayley. And the reason we're bringing Hayley back is because there's a bunch of questions that you guys asked and have been asking all day. We're going to run through those questions about the Shopify program, and then we're going to dive into the rest of the night. So without any further ado, at home in the studio, give my friend Hayley Hughes a big warm welcome.
Hello. Okay.
How are you?
Good, very good.
Welcome back. You're not as flustered as last night.
And I'm old hat at this now.
I was teasing Hayley because when I was 22 years old, I was on Good Morning Australia with Bert Newton, and I'd written my first book, and it was in Melbourne, just off Chapel Street, and I was literally shitting my pants. And I sit down with the famous Bert Newton, and he says, "Oh, you look a bit flustered there, young chap." And I said, "Oh, I'm a bit nervous." He said, "Don't worry, just imagine 3 MCGs on grand final day, that's all that's watching us." And I'm like, so it's all good.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, no worries. How are you tonight?
Yeah, really well.
Good.
Really well.
So how do you feel after last night?
Amazing. I've literally spent all of last night and all of today just pretty much on the phone to the amazing community. I've been sending voice message after voice message. I've had so many beautiful words of support, which is just really lovely. Like the messages that have come through, I'm just so glad that so many of the lessons that I shared last night have landed with so many people. And I've heard just some pretty incredible kind of inspiring stories from people that are pushing through some hardship and just kind of owning it and getting after it. So it's been really cool.
I want to share something while you're here because, you know, it wasn't really spoken about last night, but when you look at Hayley, you see a very well put together, articulate young woman, right? But it hasn't been that way this year, has it? Like, it's been a a bit of a shit show, and it's been a really challenging time, right, to get to where you are today.
Yeah, for sure. Of every avenue of my life, from the personal aspect to businesses.
Yes.
I won't say what I'm thinking. So many analogies I could use, but I won't. But yeah, I've had a lot of challenges this year. So it definitely hasn't been a smooth road, but there's been a lot of valuable lessons as part of it.
Because I want people to understand that at home. For much of the year you were alone and with 2 kids and trying to do it on your own and run a business and keep the bills paid and all the rest. And it really was through genuine perseverance and hardship that these lessons were, as you say, earned instead of learned. I can't wait, and we've been seeing so many messages come in about we've got a load of you guys joining this Shopify program. We might have to put together a community or something just on Shopify, I think, because there's so much interest in it. But these are the top 5 questions that you had. So the first one was, can I join if I already have a Shopify store? We still get benefit from it.
Yes, and absolutely. There's 2 main reasons why I say yes to this. Firstly, one of the main reasons that I find that Shopify store owners struggle with their journey while they're looking for extra help, it's come down to, I would say, the biggest needle mover for success on Shopify. It's not more traffic. I feel like there is a lot of focus around, I need to get traffic, when in fact I feel like more of the focus should be around converting the traffic that you're already getting to your site first. Then once you've nailed that piece of the puzzle, then look at scaling. But first and foremost, it's always about conversion optimization first and foremost. Get that under control, and then you can kind of scale from there. And that's why I've included such a big segment in Shopify School. It's all about conversion optimization. So you can learn about those small little tweaks that you can make that seem insignificant, but they can make a huge difference. As I shared last night, I mean, just from a few small changes that we've made on the website, we've had an increase of 37% in on-site conversions just because of those visual changes that we made on the website, which is crazy. So
yeah, we've been doing this with USpied, right? We've got the ability to drive massive traffic at the page which generates appointments for us, but we're still at the stage of tweaking so that when we drive traffic at scale, you can drive it profitably.
Exactly.
Which is super important. All right, so the second one was, can I join if I don't have a product yet?
Yes, and if anything, it's nearly even more of a benefit, because unlike myself, and maybe even as you just mentioned before, like when you got started with Amazon, there's so many people now in the community that are so further advanced than what you were at that stage of your journey, because they've got the benefit of fast tracking their learning, which is exactly what everybody's going to get as part of Shopify School. And I'm genuinely so glad and so happy to be able to share the learnings that I've had to help fast track everybody, so they don't have to have those hard-earned lessons as I had. And one of the key sections that we're going to be talking about as part of Shopify School is what we call the Holy Trinity of Shopify success. And it's those 3 main metrics that you need to really understand in order to pick the right kind of product. And if I can help people get the right product in the first place, it'll save a lot of time for them in the long run.
To be clear, guys, this program was initially designed with somebody, because what I said to Hayley at the beginning was I want to create a program where somebody who's got no product, no brand, no logo can get live fast. So how do we overcome that? We give you a brand, right? We give you the logos and the brand guides and all that stuff. And that's what's so good about it, is that literally, I wasn't kidding, with no product, no logo, no nothing. As long as you've got a credit card to register the domain name, you can literally get a working Shopify store going in a couple of hours, including products via the shipping stuff that you're going to teach people that you can actually sell. And then it's about driving some traffic and then playing with the conversion metrics.
That's it. And just on that, to elaborate a little bit more, for those that are kind of sitting there and maybe thinking, what is a brand guide and why should I even care anyway? Having your branding battened down in the first place is so important, because I think a lot of people, when they think of branding initially, they just think, oh, it's my color palette or it's my logo, that's my brand. But it is so much more than that. Your branding is everything. Your branding is your business. It's the one thing that essentially differentiates you from everybody else that's out there in the market, and that's so important on Shopify, or even with Amazon. Just to be able to differentiate yourself. So But I'm also aware that for a lot of people, it's challenging to sit down and think about what colors go with what and what font should I use and what images should I have and designing a logo, all that kind of stuff. So that's why I really wanted to make sure that this was an easy, smooth process for everybody. So we have literally, they're like plug and play branding templates. So you literally go in, you just choose from the range of branding templates that we have for you, including the colors, the typography, inspiration images, all of that kind of stuff, and just look for the one that speaks to you the most, and then roll with that. Or you can tinker with it a little bit, but at least you've got a really good base to start with. And we'll talk more as part of the course about the voice and everything that you can kind of expand on from there, but the foundation is already there for everybody.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, so will you show us how to find drop shipping suppliers and integrate the products into the site?
Yes, I got this question a lot.
Yeah.
And I actually think this is going to be one of the more exciting parts of the course, is going through, and we'll definitely be showing you exactly how to go out there and find suppliers and products for the drop shipping and the hybrid model that we spoke about last night. And I'll share a little bit more about exactly what to look for as part of the suppliers as well, because I think that's another thing that's on people's mind, is how do I know whether that's the right supplier for me? So I'll dive into that a little bit more. And in fact, that's why we're hosting the live webinar for the dropshipping.
To actually show them.
Yeah, so it's going to be super interactive. So for those of you that that join up, particularly before the Sunday, you'll be on that webinar live with me. So it's going to be really interactive. I'll walk you through all of these kinds of things and answer your questions along the way as well, to make sure that everybody's completely covered. And then the final step is integrating that into your site as well. And that's where it gets really fun.
And that's where it gets really fun. And to be clear, guys, there's no emailing suppliers and waiting for a response and getting samples.
Exactly.
It's touchless. You don't actually, you can literally pull them into your site and they're for sale. You don't, that they are all, you already have permission to do it.
Yeah.
And this is, so there's no development time. It's literally, when I said 90 minutes to 2 hours later, you can be selling products, you could literally set up a pet food or a fitness brand and put on a Facebook ad, drive somebody to the site, and they might buy something. The money goes into your bank account, the order goes out to the drop shipping company, and you're done. So it's we'll literally show you how to do that.
Yeah.
And as we said, the model we're moving to is we've got some core products where the much higher margins are because we've bought the inventory, and then we might surround the sleep brand that we're going to be moving into with some other sleep-related products that we're just going to pull into bulk the site out initially, and then we've got a winner, we'll source that, and then we'll bring it in at the margin that we want.
And I'll show some great examples in the course as well of other stores that have started more as that kind of that testing ground, essentially as a basic drop shipping store. And from that they have evolved because they got so much data and intelligence from customers that were actually buying. So they're putting their money where their mouth is, not just a hypothetical questionnaire where they've asked their friends or family members that just essentially give them the answers that they want to hear because they don't want to upset them. So it's a really smart way of doing things and affordable.
All right, the next one, will the course cover traffic?
Yes and no. So this kind of links into with the first question as well, is if you already have a Shopify store, will this kind of work for you? One module in entirety that we're going to be focusing on is influencer marketing. This was a core strategy for us when we first got started. So we literally, for Empire & Co, we had literally hundreds of influencers all around the world promoting the product for us. And it didn't cost a cent other than product. We did a pure product for posting swap. They did photos, videos, and still even now to this day, I've had some influencers that have posted a dozen or more times about the product, and they just continue to do it because they love the product when they got it as well. So it's a really powerful strategy to use to get traffic to your store for free. In terms of paid traffic, Facebook advertising, Google ads, I genuinely feel it would be a disservice just to lightly touch on it. So I feel that that's kind of needs to be a whole course within itself.
That's a whole separate box and dice. You're not going to get, if somebody's trying to sell you a Facebook, Instagram course for $397 US, don't bother. You know, like a decent agency.
huge,
It's a whole area of expertise that you're going to have to learn. But social is interesting, and it is an interesting world.
Because there's two core reasons why you genuinely do need to, I believe anyway, you need to have influencer marketing as part of your core strategy.
Yep.
And also the social media, just posting and things like that as well. It's a given.
I would view this as stages. So once you've got the metrics right, once you're driving traffic, convert, even if it's small amounts, I'm talking like a $50 a day budget, but you can show somebody, if you don't have cash, right? But if you can show the right metrics, which Hayley will teach you in the program, finding an investor to back you, once you've got the metrics, if you can show that you can acquire customers without it costing you money, you can scale that crazily, right?
Yeah.
So it's a win in the world of Shopify to be able to acquire a customer without it costing you money. If you can make money and acquire customers, even at a small scale, consistently, getting money into that business is not going to be hard. It's a super, super hot space, but we'll teach you enough in the program to know what the metrics are and start working on them. The last one, do you need your customers to be in Australia or can they be located globally?
They can be anywhere. So even with Empire & Co, we've had customers, our main markets are Australia and the US, but we've also had customers over in the UK. I've even sent products out to Nigeria. It's really, really interesting. So it doesn't matter where your main customer base is, and I'm assuming a lot of Reliable students have their main customer database over in the US. It's totally fine, particularly if you're looking at doing the hybrid model. Your dropshippers are also used to sending items out globally. They don't deal exclusively with Australian providers and Australian customers. It is a global approach that you can use, so your customers can be literally anywhere in the world, and you can use this type of strategy and build a really great customer database.
There you have it, guys. Hayley is going to be running the program. We're super excited. A lot of the filming's already done. There's a bit more to be filmed in December, and then it will be out to you mid to late January, we're aiming for. And the sale, the introductory price, $397 US, going to $997. I think we'll launch it at next year. And this will be the cheapest it will ever be.
Can I add one thing on that as well? Sorry, not to take up time, but one other thing that was also coming up was a lot of people are a little uncertain as to whether, if they're new to the Amazon journey, whether they should finish Amazon first before going ahead with Shopify. I'm a big believer in kind of compartmentalizing and getting things done one thing at a time rather than getting yourself overwhelmed. However, this is 61% off, and I just think it's kind of crazy not to take the opportunity. So if you want to take that strategy, get the course. It's going to pop up in your LMS anyway and just sit there, but finish what you started first, but then you can take advantage of the fact that they're saving so much as part of it as well. Exactly.
It is cheap, I bought 2 courses this month, one from Billie Jean and another one from Digital Marketer, both because they were just heavily discounted, and I'll get to them next year. But the way I look at these things and what I would encourage you to start implementing in your life if you're at home is, can you double? And if you can double, then do it, right? So, and this one's like a double, in my opinion. Seriously, you don't have to build too much of a Shopify business to add that sort of value to it. So, Hayley, thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
And what we're going to do, guys, before you go, Hayley, is we are going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we're going to come back. I'm going to jump over, we're going to talk to Sam, and then when I'm finished with Sam, there'll be another commercial break, and I'll be back with you after that. So, I'm going to run a commercial, going to get over in the other set. Sam is going to be with you. Sam is a young man from Sydney in New South Wales who is 18 years old, and he's going to jump in with us now and talk to us about his journey of how he bought software school from us with borrowed funds from his mum. He got $5,000, and he used, I think, 1,000 of it to buy software school, and then he implemented it. He went and got his screenshots done from professional software dashboard designers, went and got a proof of concept, and then went and got some funding. So we're going to run the commercial, we're going to get on the other set, and then I'll be right back after that on the flip side. So stay tuned and enjoy the upcoming interview with Sam, and thank you, Hayley.
Welcome. Hey guys, it's Hayley here. I hope you're enjoying the Accelerator. I know that I am. I wanted to jump on really quickly just to remind you that you have until Sunday to take advantage of the super reduced price that we're offering for the Shopify course. I cannot wait to share all of the strategies, the lessons learned, and all the tips and tricks that I've been able to implement in my own Shopify store and show you guys how you can essentially fast track that journey to success. In fact, one of the things that I'm going to be teaching you that I am super excited about, and I know you guys will be as well, it's how you can fill your store with ready to sell products, ready to ship out with your customers. You don't need to spend a cent on any of the inventory, and we're going to have it filled in your store, including images, all of the product descriptions within a matter of minutes. If you look at the screen now, what you're going to be seeing is a store that I'll deep dive into more detail with you guys during the course, and I'll show you how they were able to build this entire store without spending a cent on their inventory. It's super exciting. I know you're going to love it, and I can't wait to share it with you. So don't miss out. Make sure you take advantage of the super reduced price. You have until Sunday to get your hands on the course, and I cannot wait to see you in there. Bye for now.
All right, everybody, welcome to this short, sharp interview of my good friend Sam Hope, who is one of our students from Sydney in New South Wales, former Gold Coast boy. Sam is all of 18 years old, and I wanted to get you on here quickly tonight, Sam, for an inspiring story at the start of this evening. Sam, congratulations on what you've been doing. Let's just get a quick, 1 minute overview. What is WOWO car washing?
No worries. Well, thanks for having me, Adam, first and foremost. WOWO stands for wax on, wax off. We effectively started cleaning cars to make some extra cash on the side, and now we're effectively looking to connect car detail technicians or car cleaners with consumers looking to have their cars done on a recurring basis through a piece of tech that we're in the process of building right now. And an awesome part about WOWO is we exclusively hire and train young adults and youth to be the car cleaners. So we're really looking to try and reduce youth unemployment rates locally and then expand as quickly as we can. But exciting times.
I love that story. That is a really good, unique selling point. Creating Australian jobs for young Aussies is fantastic. Yep. I know that when it comes to the GC, I will definitely be signing up with that. Now, WOWO stands for what?
Wax on, wax off.
Okay, I love that.
Think of Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid. That's what we were going for.
What I love about this story is you borrowed $5,000 from your mum. You wrote a business loan with your mother, with your business partner, $5,000, which you used to buy software school, get educated, and then you learned how to create dashboards and collaterals and a business plan for your software. And then you said, right, we're going to go and do our first round of funding based on what you learned at software school. Tell us what you went and did. How much money did you raise? At what valuation? And then I'm going to talk a little bit about how you are now getting customers. So let's start with the valuation and how much money you raised and how you took those first steps.
Yeah. So we raised an initial round of $80,000, and so we sold 10% of the business for that. Which obviously values the business at $800,000. We did that about 3.5 months since we incorporated the company and started cleaning cars and operating. And I think, the moral is that with the $5,000 that we were able to acquire in debt finance, that allowed us to paint a picture and really, I guess you speak about it, Adam, but being able to transfer and sell the idea and the vision we have for this business as if it was a lot bigger than what it was at the time.
So here you are at 18, you already know what debt capital is, which is money you borrowed from your mum that you've got to pay back. You've now taken equity capital, which is in exchange for shares, and you've also brought in your accounting and advisory firm who also own 10%, and they're now giving you support and advice for 10% of the company as well. So you guys own 80%, 10% from the first investors, 10% to your advisory, and you're left with 80% of the company, and you've got the support and the capital you need. Is that about the size of it?
That's exactly right. Adam, the thing that we were missing was the experience in business. And so we knew we needed to fill that gap. And so the firm that invested the finance in the business, we also did a sweat equity deal with them. So they're the primary investors.
So they put cash up and they put in some sweat equity as well. That's fantastic. All right, so tell us about I love how scrappy you guys have been. You got over 100 customers in one weekend from 0 ad spend. How did you do that?
Yeah, in fact, we started mailing out. So I think it's the most traditional hustle of all time, car cleaning, right? And just putting, pamphlets in mailboxes. And then one of the clients who picked up one of the pamphlets said, hey, you should put this in the local Northern Beaches buy, swap, sell group. Most people have them in their local communities. This one was quite large. It had about 100,000 members.
It's a Facebook group.
Facebook group. And we just took a screenshot of what we were putting in the mailboxes and posted it with a little bit of graphics and a link to the website and booking system. And we had 100 cars booked in across 80 clients, because some clients have a few cars in their household, in a weekend. And so over the next fortnight, did 100 cars to clean, and a lot of thinking to do on how we can actually, make this more systemized, I guess.
And now you're creating a software app so that people can book their car in on a recurring basis. So you've got that recurring SaaS type revenue. I've seen the screenshots. It looks amazing. But and you're also drawing a minimal salary, the two of you, out of the 80 grand capital that you've raised to date. And then once you prove the model up, I guess you'll go back to the market and raise some more funding. Is that the plan?
That's exactly the plan. It's really a step-by-step process. The finance we have now is to get to the next step. It's almost like the $5,000 we loaned initially got us to where we are now, to the 80,000. This 80,000 is going to get us into a position which will then be able to get us to our MVP, basically.
Yeah.
Naturally, as young people, it's been a slight longer process. Obviously, we're taking a salary. This is our main gig. The other co-founder, Chris Griffin, and myself are the only guys taking a salary at the moment.
This is an amazing story. In 4.5 months, you've gone from an idea to over 100 clients. You've got a bunch of recurring clients already signed up that are paying you each month. You're 18 years old. You've got an $800,000 valuation, and you're just going through the process, a little bit of debt finance, some equity finance. You've got business partners on board. So it's a beautiful example of idea, capital, and execution. Sam, we wish you all the best, buddy. And the whole RE community is rooting for you and hoping that you do great. And mate, let us know when we can book our cars in around the country when you open up a state. And I'm sure we've got plenty of students that would love to participate in creating jobs for young Aussies and helping you guys thrive and become a real success story. So thanks for joining us, mate. Really appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Adam. All the best.
Bye.
According to the International Car Wash Association, the cleaning industry is worth over $10 billion. Now, that's a lot of cars being cleaned. With almost half of all Australian registered vehicles receiving car cleaning services, when was the last time you didn't have to sip on a poorly made coffee or wait in an underground car park for over an hour while your car was being cleaned? Well, the likelihood is that you haven't. Introducing WoWo. WoWo, much like Uber or Airbnb, is a mobile app that connects the car detail technician with everyday people like yourself. With WoWo, you never have to leave your house, go to the bank to cash out, or even book your car in each time your car needs a clean. WoWo automates all of that, coming to your door at a predetermined time every 3, 4, or 5 weeks based on your preference. WoWo exclusively hires and trains young adults between the ages of 17 and 25. So by using WoWo, you're creating real and reliable work opportunities for the youth in your local neighborhood and creating a win-win for you and them. You can now have your car cleaned by your very own trusted and trained car detail technician up to every 3 weeks. Prices starting at just $68 per month. Come join WoWo today at www.wowowashing.com.
Okay, so how inspiring is that? Like, really think about what you just saw there. We just saw a young Australian who at the age of 18 was asking a vastly different question than the average punter at his age, him with his business partner, Chris Griffin. I just love this story on so many levels because it holds in it so many of the truths that I try to share on Instagram when I was going live there every day and now on YouSpied, and the things that I've learned throughout my career, where you are sitting there fussing over the details. You might have heard the saying, before you start climbing a ladder, make sure the ladder's leaning against the right wall. And in this example, the wall is the question that you are asking in your mind. It really gets you thinking, right? Here's a kid who says, I'm going to wash cars. Now, the average person would start going, okay, well, what's my logo going to be? How many cars can I wash in a day? This guy's thinking, how can I make $1 million company in a year out of car washing? Same vehicle, pardon the pun, but same vehicle, same mechanism of making the money. One person's asking a completely different level of question. And the great thing about success is it is agnostic to your age, your sex, your religion, any of that stuff, right? It only sees the idea. And so when I see Sam talking about this, it gets to the heart of what really is the thing that drives people who are successful from people who are not. It's the quality of the question they ask, which is stemming from the identity of who they are and how they see things. I want to ask you a question. When you started on this journey to become an Amazon seller or a Shopify seller or a Shopify school, a software school student, I'm not sure which program you bought to be here tonight, but did you just say to yourself, well, I think I'll just give this a go. I'll just tune in tonight and see what happens. Well, if that was you, let me tell you, very few people coasted their way accidentally to the top of the mountain, but they didn't sort of trip to the top of the mountain. People who got there were extremely intentional. When people buy our platinum program, which is 20 grand last intake, it was 25, we dropped it a little bit this year because of COVID. It was a $25,000 program, whichever they paid. In the first call that we do with them, I challenge them on night one that if you are joining this program, this is the intention that I want you to bring to it. And it's not double, it's 10x. If you're going to invest 20 grand into your education or 25 grand into your education in a program like this, I want you to have top of your mind, how the hell do I get 10 times my money back on this investment? Because that is the kind of return you should be seeking when you are going in and you're in the area of knowledge and you're in the area of intellectual property, right? If you like, I'm going to tell you a little bit later after this next session, because coming on next, we've got two people who generated over $40,000 within a few days of going live on Amazon with their very first product, right? Their very first product. They're the winners of our Platinum Partners Go Live competition that we run every year, where they are not allowed to buy more than 100 products. The whole thing from start to finish, the sourcing, the supplying, the branding, the logos, everything, and it starts from scratch, has to be over and done inside of 100 days. 100 products, 100 days, they did over $40,000 in sales from 100 products, right? And it's an extraordinary sandbox. It makes everybody go, wow, I can only buy 100, so I can't get too burned. I've got fixed deadlines where if I miss a deadline, then I'm out. And our head of platinum just walked in, Wayne, into the studio. If you miss a deadline, you're out. It cuts through all the bullshit and it gets you to the work, right? It gets you to the doing, right? It doesn't let you get in the way of it. And these people came on. They're coming on next. But what I want you to be thinking about is that when you are in the area of knowledge, of learning, it's not double. Double's for beginners. When it comes to actual knowledge and buying like this thing of Shopify, I've seen people sit there and they're like, oh, should I do this or should I do that? Guys, like this is just one tiny example, $397. How little self-belief in yourself, if you're going to do a Shopify store, would you have to not be sure if you can make 10 times that back, which is $4 grand, right? It's not about the money, it's about the way you're viewing the investments that you make into yourself. This is the way I assess every time I make an investment of any kind. Can I double my money? If it means getting on a plane and going somewhere, what has to happen in order for me to get my money back to cost me for the flights and the accommodation and all the other stuff that I do? And I'll tell you the story of how I met Raj after this next section. But all of this comes back to, guys, it comes back to what's going on in here. Identity and belief is at the heart of everything that you're able to do. You know, I want you tonight to shift and to be going, like many of you saw Eric last night and would have went, far out, man, like that's just so amazing. Eric's so amazing, right? Or Udi, oh my God, he's so amazing, right? And I think that too, right? But the difference is I would be plotting right now like some evil villain to going, I am going to come up with something that I'm going to put in front of that guy and I'm going to get into business with him, right? With Eric or with Raj or with these people who are saying, I'm open to deals right now. Because let me tell you something, if you got into business with Eric and you had the privilege of getting his mentorship for a year, I don't give a fuck how much money you make, right? You should be paying him for the opportunity. But he's saying, no, I'm happy to give you my money and my advice and opinion, and it's right there. He's in the community. You can reach out to him, but only a few will, because only a few have the self-identity and confidence to say, fuck this, I am tired of sitting on the sidelines. I'm tired, excuse me, of sitting there with my fingers in the popcorn and not actually leaning forward and going, you know what? I'm fucking done. It's time to go to the bank and get paid with this knowledge. Because you, my friend, are like me. We are going to die at some point. That is an absolute certainty. You're getting older as you sit here right at this moment. What has to change inside of you to crack that nut that you decide, you make that decision that you are going to self-identify differently? You're not going to be somebody who buys a course and hopes that it works, right? That's fucking loser talk. You are somebody that buys a course because you are a powerful fucking being. You are capable of much, much more. I'm talking to you. I want you to really tune in. You. I'm talking to you. You are capable of more than you realize. My job here tonight is not to teach you anything, it's to wake you up to your potential. And I want this to be a minute where you sit and reflect and go, holy shit, he's talking to me here. I am. This is the moment to start changing that. Don't be a spectator. There is no money in buying a fucking ticket. There's money in being the one they came to see. Does that make sense? That's why the people on the field who cop all the shit and get all the injuries get all the money. Because they're the ones that go to training, stay in tip-top shape, but they didn't accidentally fall there. They decided their way there. They made real internal decisions. And that's what I want you to do. I want you to understand that this very moment that we are having right now, with me looking down the barrel of this camera in Burleigh Heads, live right now, this moment could be the moment that you bought this course, that you sat there, put your brown underpants on and hit the buy button. It's now. It's now when you change. It's now. How much longer do you want to be somebody that says, I'm going to give it a go, as opposed to somebody who says, I'm going to fucking dominate this. From today, I am a professional Amazon seller. From today, I am going to be a professional e-commerce seller. I first saw this in a friend of mine today. He became a student of mine many, many, many years ago. He turned up at one of my events, and at the time he was a chippy. He was a carpenter. He was a builder, right? He used to go to work with his esky and his stubbies, and he used to sit there with his nuts hanging out while he had his ham sandwiches with all the other guys there, and he never felt like he belonged on a work site. And he came to my event, and he came up to me and he said, I'm never, ever, ever going to go back to making houses again. He sold all his tools, and he went all in on his business at that time. Right now, that guy is sitting on his boat up on the Sunshine Coast, chilling while his childcare centre gets built. He's a multi-millionaire, right? Because he went all in, and even though he had the shorts, he had the fucking tool belt, he had his esky, inside he made a decision that day that I am no longer a tradie. I do not identify as a tradie. With all this bloody ability today to identify as whatever you want, Why not start fucking identifying as a winner? Why not choose to identify as somebody who says, I don't fuck around anymore. I came to play. I came to turn this investment that I made in this Amazon course into 10x what I gave Adam. Stop acting like a little baby and go and make it happen, because you are capable of not 10x that, you're capable of 100 that. Turn it into $390,000 if you paid me $4 grand for the course. Turn it into 400 grand of equity in a real business. It is actually so capable for you. You are the problem, because your quality of question is just not serving you. So I want to know when you want to change the narrative, because the only person who can change that narrative is you. It's you. You have to change the narrative of what's going on in your head. And when you do, everything else will change around you. You'll look at a guy like Eric and you won't see him on a pedestal. You'll respect the shit out of him, but you'll also be one of those people who go, I'm going to get into business with that guy. I'm going to get into business. I'm going to do what it takes. Do you know how easy it is to get the attention of smart people? Because most people are fucking afraid and stupid, right? To be average is easy. To be extraordinary, to be outstanding, there's no competition there. You are capable of imagining your way there if you just set your mind to it. But the problem is most people can look through a fucking keyhole with both eyes. They're so narrow-minded, they can't even turn their head anymore. They're fucked. You've got to start to think more creatively. You've got to start to self-identify. What would it take to do that? And you know what? It's not much. It is not much to be extremely creative. And this is why above my head right now it says the Albert Einstein quote, imagination is more important than knowledge. Did you just not see that in that 18-year-old boy? Look what his imagination manifested. He has absolutely no fucking right to have $1 million asset there in 4 months, yet he's on his way. He has the backing of a financial services company that were the ones that put up the 80 grand for 10%. They have obviously seen something in that kid. But the only reason Sam is there is because Sam didn't see himself somewhere else. He didn't allow himself. He's not fucked up enough yet to talk himself out of who he can be. So what I want you to be thinking about here tonight, when you watch for the rest of tonight, start to think about what is this eternal narrative and self-talk that is going on in your head that is giving you the results you're getting. Because if you don't like the printout that comes out on the printer of your life, you don't go over and smack the computer, right? You look at what you typed into the word processor and you change the words on there. That is self-work. That is something you have to do. But tonight, right now, you can decide that I am no longer somebody that says, I'm going to give this a go. I'll turn up and hopefully it picks me up for a bit, and you can start to say, I am going to dominate this business. Anyone on here who makes that real decision, resolute, I'm not leaving till I turn my 4 grand into 40 grand. When you have that win, if you can just build some shitty little Amazon business that makes 10 grand a year, 15 grand a year, you can sell it for 40, right? Guess what? You just 10x'd your money. Now you've got 40 grand and you turn that shitty little 40 grand into 400 grand. And guess what after that? Now you're starting to feel it. Now you're starting to feel a little bit of your real potential. Stop fucking around and go and get to work. Does that make sense? Am I being clear? That's why I came here tonight, guys, because I want you, like I said at the start, to put a circle around this day in your diary, this day in your life, because it was the day that somebody rang your bell a little bit. And if I've offended you, I don't apologise. I want you to be a little bit offended. The book of what offends people today is about a foot thick, I think. I'm not trying to offend you. I'm trying to call on your higher self. I'm trying to remind you of that little voice that had to scream through all the bullshit in your life just to get you to join the program, of all the people that fucked you up along the way, and remind you that you are human. You are here for but a short time, and you are vastly talented, incredibly strong, incredibly networked. You are in a community full of people that want to help you, and there's people who are literally saying, hit me up on Facebook, I want to invest in your business, yet most of you are still opting out. It just blows my mind. It blows my mind how uncompetitive it is. People say, if I started on Amazon, you know, when Adam started on Amazon. Fuck off. If I started on Amazon today, I'd crush it today, because it's as uncrowded in excellence now in anything as it's ever been. It's 10 times bigger than it is now than when it was then. For people who are committed, for people who are creative, there is never a bad time to start. It's loser talk. You are amazing. So wake up and act accordingly. So with that said, where's my notes? I got all passionate and fired up. We're going to a break. Where are we going for the break? I don't know. We're going to come back with two extraordinary people. My cameraman's like, what the fuck? He's moving around. Well, that's what happens when you put half a whiskey into me. Okay, standing by, we have our friends who are Daniel and Felicia, and these people are awesome. These are two hardworking Aussies, got a young family, and they are going to be talking about how they won our Go Live contest. We're going to jump over. I'm going to get them on for you guys. You can hear the story of how they made a decision to win. They didn't fuck around. They went, I'm going to win this contest. You're going to hear it because I've done the pre-interview with them. We talked about what we're going to talk about. These people are special. These are people that choose to win. So we're going to run a quick commercial while we get set up. They're on next. Let's rock and roll.
Hello everybody, I trust you're enjoying the Reliable Education Accelerator program. My name is Kim Liedman and I'm an original Platinum RE student P1 and I'm an Amazon and Shopify seller also. My specialty is business finance. I'm part of a group called FIFO Capital and we offer specialised cash flow products designed for all kinds of businesses, big and small. The product that I want to share with you today is our International Trade Finance. This is a product that we offer to all importers and exporters. Fundamentally, our International Trade Finance product allows you to answer the question, my stock is on the boat and I can't take delivery until my supplier has been paid. FIFO Capital will fill that payment gap for up to 4 months, allowing you to order stock with only a 20% deposit, then paying us back when you get paid from your onward sales from e-commerce or from your wholesale clients. The best part is we don't require security to approve a credit limit for you. To be considered, you will need to have been in business for at least 12 months with an Australian ABN number and be able to demonstrate a trading history. So, if you have any questions, contact Kim Liedman on my email, kim.liedman@fifocapital.com, and let's get you accelerated to the next level.
Welcome everybody. I am here with Daniel and Felicia from the northern beaches of Sydney, who are the winners, the recent winners of our Go Live program, which is part of our Platinum Partners program. It's a really, really cool competition where everybody competes, and the rules are you're not allowed more than 100 products, but you have to go live on Amazon within a set amount of days with various milestones you've got to meet along the way. And if you don't, you get booted out of the chance to win the prize. But these guys were announced just a few days ago as the winners of the Go Live program with total sales of $48,469 in just 19 days. So we're going to learn from them some tips on how they did it. So guys, thank you so much for coming. How are you both?
Thanks for having us, Adam. We're really well, thanks.
Yeah, really good. Very excited.
So tell us, how did you go about finding this product? Because this is your first go at Amazon, 19 days in, you just about hit $50,000. How did you choose the product that you ended up going with?
Well, I think first and foremost, with the Go Live program, we set a few goals, and they were kind of the parameters that we worked within. And the first main goal for us was to find a product that we could use and fit within the brand, that we had imagined. And so it was important that we found a product that was sustainable, that we could see that there was profit in it ongoing after the go live competition. And so that was, I guess, the first rule or goal that we had. And the second goal was that we actually wanted to make a profit in go live. So for those 100 units, we knew that with a launch, obviously you're spending money on PPC. And so we wanted to come out at the end of that actually being in front. That was the second kind of parameter and goal. And the third goal was really, because it was a competition, we said, okay, what do we need to do to win this? So we did a bit of research into past, I guess, winners and said, okay, it's got to be kind of within $300 to $500 price bracket. So that was kind of, they were the three guiding principles, if you like, of our selection criteria. And then that's what we started looking for.
In terms of specifics around how we actually found the product and the work we did around finding the exact product that we went with, we really just followed everything that we learned throughout all the training. We looked for niche within niche where there wasn't a lot of competition. We looked for keyword opportunity where the competitors weren't optimizing their listings very well. Areas where we knew that we could come in and capture some keywords nice and early and not pay a fortune for them. And we also looked at the pain points that our competitors weren't meeting with the customers. So looking, what can we do here to improve the experience for the people in that niche? What can we do quickly? Because it was go live, we didn't have a lot of time. So what can we do quickly to improve on what our competitors were doing? And how could we visually differentiate, make ourselves stand out? And so that sort of led us to where we are. And at the end of the day, we used the tools. We didn't know this product existed before. We used Zonguru, Helium 10. We used all the tools and set parameters in there to show us what options were out there. And that's what led us to where we got to.
We'd never heard of this product. I don't think it's a thing in Australia. So it was like, people buy this, okay,
Yeah.
let's give it a go.
So it was purely data-driven that you were looking for, non-emotional, and you were saying, right, $300 to $500 range. You used keyword tools. Just talk about that quickly. How did you said that you were looking for under-optimized keywords. So what exactly were you doing to figure that out?
So what we were doing was extracting all the keywords that all our main competitors were ranking for, and looking at what they were doing and seeing how many of those keywords that came up as the main keywords for this niche, and how many of those keywords were each of their competitors ranking for. And if they weren't ranking for a lot of the keywords in that group, then we knew there was opportunity. Whereas if it was a niche where there was a whole bunch of competitors that knew all about all the keywords and they were bidding and optimizing all those keywords, there may not have been the same level of opportunity for us to come in there and capture some of that.
Yeah, that's where the software is just so helpful, isn't it? So,
invaluable. Yeah.
You couldn't do it without the software.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have found the product, and that level of research and understanding, you just can't do it without the software. I don't think. Well,
so using keywords on fire to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. We also used Helium 10. So we kind of used them together. They both sort of spat out slightly different data, and we kind of amalgamated the combination and between the two.
You got to where you wanted to go.
Yeah, correct.
But the listing optimizer as well in Zonguru was, I don't know how I would have built my listing without that, to be honest. Knowing what keywords to put where, it was really helpful to making sure that all the keywords that we needed to be in the listing were in there and in the right areas.
Were you surprised to find that established people in that niche were not like optimizing? It's like they haven't heard of the software. Like people say to me all the time, is there still opportunity? And I'm like, all the time. Like you find these little sub niches and these people don't have it in their headline or they don't have it in their keywords. You're just like, it's really that easy. Just out keyword them.
Absolutely, yeah.
Even in their headings, we were reading some of them going, why have they got that in their headings? Where it's a really, as you know, important keyword tool for Amazon for ranking, and they weren't optimizing their headlines even. So
we found that the competitors were big companies that had lots of products, and I don't think that they necessarily were focused in on the individual niche within their niche, if that makes sense. So it was just like one of 100 products perhaps, and they weren't giving as much attention to that one. It was our baby, so we could give it our full attention. So we just came and stole it.
I talk about it all the time. Sleeping lions, right? They've got these massive companies. They got Doug in e-commerce who's half asleep and doesn't care. And then you guys are making a living off it. And so you guys are all over it. So this product that you have now, you're obviously going to carry this on as a product. What do you expect the margins will be now that, once you get out of launch and you've got a few reviews and you're winding back your PPC, where do you think your margin will land with this particular product? I assume you will continue to do PPC, but have you got any estimates of what your net margin will be?
We're confident we'll be able to be 30% plus after all costs.
Wow.
We pretty much hit that in go live actually, and that's in a launch. So that was with a staggered launch price. So we started off with coupons at the beginning, and then slowly ratcheted the price up. So I think it was probably only the last 40 units that we really got to our top price. So we're pretty confident we can maintain a 30% margin going forward after all costs. The thing that I think we were pleasantly surprised with, and it was a real lesson for us, was that the cost per click for a $500 item was less than the cost per click of a $60 item that we've now launched, and we're paying so much more per click. But so the traction we got really quickly meant that our ACoS was very low, and it was easy to rank, and it wasn't very costly. So our launch budget, we didn't spend anywhere near what we thought we were going to have to spend.
That's because most people are afraid of more expensive products, and they don't want to. So what's your wholesale cost on this thing? How much are you paying for it?
$131.
$131. So most people are afraid of spending $131 a unit. They want, 100 units for $131. And so your competition drops away dramatically at that end, because you don't have half of Chinese university students competing with you on $1 stuffed penguins sort of stuff. And that's the world we're living in. It's a viable means for a lot of people at $1, but at $130 is a whole different ball game. And so how much is it roughly retailing for? Let's talk just quickly before we go on your launch. You said that you price crept and you use coupons. Can you just speak to that really quickly? So where did you start? Where did you go to? And how did you use coupons? Were they discount off? Were they dollar off? How did you structure it?
So so I started at a $470 list price and started with a $70 coupon.
Right. Wow.
To begin with. So I was curious to see whether everybody would claim their coupon, and we were staggered to learn that only about 50% of the first 20 that we sold actually used their coupon. So we thought, this is great. It's being obvious that we've got this little coupon tag. So in the listing, it stands out a little bit, and it sounds like it is a big discount, $70 off. But when it got to checkout, obviously not everyone was using it. So about 50% only were using the coupon. So once that coupon promo ended, I thought, this is pretty good. Let's actually, we'll take the price up a little bit more. So we went to $479, and I made the coupon like $29, like that. And then after a while, I think after that next run, we ditched the coupon and then just went to $489, and then went to $497 as the final price, because we were getting the sales velocity, and it didn't really drop. Like it kept going. So we were confident to drop the coupon and just crank the price up, I guess.
So we tested them up. We tested every time we increased the price, just to make sure it didn't have a huge impact on velocity. And then when we saw it was quite steady.
It was holding. So we were like, okay, let's go again. We got
amazing, isn't it?
Competition. We got to get the price. Someone could be doing. Could have a $600 product. We've got to get the price up as quick as we can, so that Yeah.
I love it. So you guys basically were doing 4 sales a day, from my estimation in my head, at roughly $450, $500. that's a great business. If you had a few of those going, it's happy days, not high volume, low volume, high margin, low competition. That's amazing. Well done.
Yeah, we thought, it's the equivalent of having 10 $50 products, 10 SKUs at $50 at a 30% margin. So we're like, well, if we can do a couple of these, and it is more gutsy doing the bigger, because if something goes wrong, it goes wrong big. So but
and the capital outlay is a lot bigger. So obviously we've reordered and we've quadrupled the order size. It's a big outlay because we still haven't received all the money coming back yet. So yeah. It's
the right time to need money, though. I mean, money's available now, either in private markets or or through company lending. Our most successful student, Udi, it loves big products, loves expensive products, and he's doing 20-25 million a year sort of thing. So you're on the right track, guys. I really, really appreciate you coming on and doing this. I know there's a lot of people around the country and the world tonight watching, getting a lot of inspiration from this. This is happening right now at the end of 2020, not 10 years ago. And you deserve all of your success. So thank you so much for coming on. That's 10 minutes with our winners of Go Live, Felicia and Daniel from Sydney. Thank you so much, guys. And we wish you every success going forward.
Thanks very much, Adam. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so what I want to show you right now is the power of keywords on Amazon. This is absolutely critical to your business in terms of your listing optimization and getting traffic to your business. If you can uncover keywords that actual Amazon customers are typing that your competitors simply can't find, you are in a winning position. So the actual tool I'm going to show you right now is called Keywords on Fire. And the little trick here is that you can use it to find really cool product ideas by simply looking at the keywords that customers are typing into Amazon. Check this out right now. All right, so this is inside ZonGuru. All the tools are on the left-hand side. I've gone under listing optimization, and this is Keywords on Fire. I love this tool. And what I've done here is I've done a generic phrase search for the word gardening tool. You can see the word gardening tool. It's pulled in all the keywords and the search volume and the absolute potential of the revenue of those keywords. And let's jump in and actually have a look at what it looks like. All right, so I'm in gardening tools. Here's all the keywords that have been generated that are associated with that keyword. And as you scroll down, you'll see some really, really interesting ideas. You can see the ZG score, the dollars from keywords, and a whole bunch more data all the way along the right-hand side for every single keyword. It is so powerful for you to assess what are the right keywords for you to optimize your listing. What I do to use it for finding product ideas is I might go here and do, hey, give me all the keywords of search volume of over 1,000. And let's have a look at some of those keywords. And I can scroll down, I can see gardening hand tools, gardening tool set, gardening shovel, fiskars, pruning shears, garden trowel, hori. That's interesting. I wonder what that is. Let's go and look at that. Weed puller, gardening scissors, weeding tools, hori knife. Let's look at that. It does, on average, it does 14,000 for that keyword. I can actually click on that and open it up in Amazon. I can just simply click on it. I've done that right here. Let's go and have a look at it. And it's opened up hori knife. Interesting, never seen this. This is our Chrome extension. It gives you the niche score. Now that's going to be low because it's a very specific word, hori knife. But if you put in something else that's very general for this product, you can actually see a much higher score. So, here's the product. It's really interesting. It's got, some measurements along the side. I think you use it to probably dig into soil. Anyway, never seen this product idea. That's how I use it to find product ideas and then assess it and see if it's a great product that I can use. That's it. Pretty cool, right? You can use those keywords to find really cool ideas. I use it all the time. You can also use it obviously to optimize your listing and for your PPC. It is one of our most powerful tools. And remember, if you want access to this, go to zonguru.com/RE and you'll see an offer right there for this limited time period only. Check it out. Enjoy.
And welcome back. So, how good are Daniel and Felicia? Can you please, if you haven't already done so, if you learned something, if you got inspired from their story, drop a comment in the Facebook group, because we really want to show some love and some gratitude to these people who come on and share so openly what their success drivers have been. I love those guys. I love the questions they were asking. They came to play, they came to win, and they did. And what's extraordinary, can I tell that story, Wayne, that you were telling me just now? Yeah, thumbs up. Is that while this was going on, this Go Live program where all the platinum partners around the world are competing to win this thing, right? And there's a fair bit of good-humoured, badgering going on, because there's real prize money. What was the prize, Wayne? Was it 15 or? They won 15. Yeah, they won $15,000 for coming in first in this contest. But Felicia had a brain aneurysm while it was going on and was on the campfires, the coaching calls throughout that process in hospital after having an open brain surgery, watching it and doing this contest. That's how much they wanted to win and how seriously they took it, which is such an extraordinary story, and well done. Absolutely remarkable story. So congratulations. And what I love about what you guys are talking about is so specific, right? So many clues dropped down there. Now, while we're on the subject of thanking people for dropping value into our community, I want to take a moment, because I'm now going to announce the first 4 winners of the RE 2020 competition that we've been running. Guys, I want us to say this initiative, it's not the first time it's been done, but this time was amazing. The quality of the submissions that you guys have put into the private Facebook group are off the charts. And the reason I'm only announcing 4 tonight is because I honestly haven't gotten through all of them yet properly. Like, I've read them quickly, but I really want to think a bit more deeply about how we award the next 4. And I have read all of them, right, personally. I have not outsourced this job. I've not asked people to just send me the most liked or most commented on ones. I'm actually assessing them. But I am going to announce 4 tonight, because I know these 4 are definite winners. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go into the private Facebook group, not right now because you're watching the live stream and commenting, but later, go into the search bar when you're in the private Facebook group and put in hashtag RE2020, 2020, as in numeric. When you do that, all these posts will come up where students have contributed their best learnings from since they joined Reliable Education. And the level of detail, insight, vulnerability, passion, inspiration, and sharing is just something to behold. So I'm going to announce 4 winners. The major prize is that you get to come and have a proper 12 with me, if you're not too afraid of that after what you just saw. You're going to come to my home on the Gold Coast on the beachfront, and there's going to be 8 of you there. And my partner Cass and I are going to entertain and host you for the day. And we're going to hang out. We're going to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. You can ask me anything to do with life or business that you want. You're going to get to meet these extraordinary people that have donated their heart, their knowledge, their expertise in a very, very small room environment. In fact, this is the smallest room environment I've done in years. So we're going to spend the full day. You're going to be sitting in one of the most beautiful apartments in Australia, in my opinion. It's interesting how one of our students is here tonight who actually manages our building, James, and his partner who are students as well. So James might even pop by and say good day, who knows? We're going to hang out in the lounge room, we're going to talk, and we're going to get to know each other a lot better. We're going to pay for your flights, we're going to put you up for the day at a house, not the night, for the day at our house, and it's going to be super fun. So the first 4 winners are, drum roll please. All right. The number 1 winner, the first winner, these aren't in prize order, these are just the first 4 winners. The first one is Leanne Rosen. Now, if you haven't, yes. If you haven't read Leanne's post, it's extraordinarily brave, and it talks about her real life journey of being with us now for several years, the ups and the downs in a very, very real way. So Leanne, I know you're probably watching right now. Thank you for posting that. That took enormous courage to detail what you've been through, how you've been through it, and you brought to light the very real mental health challenges that face anybody who is seriously having a crack at entrepreneurship, because it will break you at times. It is normal, and for that to happen, it's not healthy and it's not good, but it's normal. And how you articulated it and your willingness to share shows the heart of a lion, and we deeply appreciate it. So you are coming to hang out with me on the Gold Coast, and I can't wait to spend more time. Obviously, we know each other because we've spent a bit of time together already, and I'm looking forward to more of the same. Second, the next one that I want to announce is Mark Diapola. So Mark, well done, congratulations. And I want to point out that it's not just that Mark did 160 grand with his lovely partner this month. It's not the money. That's not why you won. They did 160,000 US dollars this month. It's the quality of the post. It's the willingness to share how they got there and all the hard things and the things that were difficult that they had to overcome and learn along the way. So Mark, thank you for taking the time to put that in there. The next one is, drum roll, Elizabeth Horn from Tasmania. Now, Elizabeth, you won this for two reasons. One, your post was awesome, and I love how much effort and passion and time that you put in it. But the thing that got you over the line was how many of the other people's posts you jumped into and added encouragement and support and love and was so giving to the community. So I couldn't not give you a spot. Now, the fourth one I'm going to announce tonight is Katie Rowell. I think, yeah, well done, Katie. I think Katie's in Sydney from memory. Katie is the lady that had the tiger face paint and did this awesome post, which if you haven't seen, you've got to see as well. So those are the first four. The next four are going to be announced probably next week. I just need a couple of hours to really read through them again to pick out the next four, because there are so many good posts there. Justin Cataldo, Xing Cam, Jane Jones, to just name a few. There's many others on the short list. So I just want to go through and spend a bit more time because you guys gave us your time, and so I take it seriously, and it's a big opportunity. So I want to make sure that in my heart I'm giving that opportunity to the people that I think have really benefited the community the most, and so in what they offered. So that's what I'll be doing over the weekend, having a look at the rest of them in more detail, and I will announce it on the private Facebook group next week. All right, so congratulations, guys, to that, and it'll be next year when all the borders are open. We'll organise your flights, we'll get you up here, and we'll have an awesome, awesome day, and we'll film it so the rest of you guys can see what it's like to come and hang out for a day. All right, now standing by in just a moment, let me just check the time so that we can see what time we're looking at. Okay, in about 10 minutes. Okay, so what I want to do, I'm going to be crossing over to Raj in Texas, and this is going to be an awesome interview. Raj is an amazing, amazing guy, but I want to tell you a little bit of a story about this thinking that led to me meeting not only Raj, but many other people who have influenced my life in a very, very big way and have helped me get needle-moving results. Because oftentimes people just see where you are today and they don't realize the journey that you've been on. You're seeing me at the end of a 25-year journey, most of which was dog shit and horrible, and full of failure, self-doubt, uncertainty, not knowing the answers to things, and wanting so badly to be successful and to have that life and to, basically get to where I am now. It was most of my adult life I've spent being lost and having no idea how to get there. But one thing that I did learn was this thing of always invest in yourself first. If somebody is willing to teach you something, is willing to organize an event, is willing to say, look, $1,000 and come and hang out at this thing or do whatever, I've always invested in me. But the big difference between me and a lot of other people is I always went in with a double mindset. I'm going to put in 5 or 10 grand. I need to at least double my money coming out. And over the years, as I've gotten older, I've said I need 10x out of it. If I'm going to go and invest 10 grand, it's not the 10 grand, It's the time. A lot of the things that I went to in the last few years were in the US. To go out to the US and to get into those rooms that I wanted to get into took time. So I'm going to tell you two quick stories I'll tell you three actually, because I've got time. One was when I first moved to the United States. I had come out of a very, very difficult period in Australia. 2008 hit. I had just taken my company onto the stock exchange in a small public listing. I thought I was all set. I had about $10 million worth of shares in that company. Those shares went to nothing. I was in escrow and I spent the next year and a half working for free trying to save the company. And it pretty much sent me broke in my mid-30s. I was back to ground zero and had to start again. I eventually sold that piece of equity to a high net worth Australian guy who'd exited his company for millions of dollars. He bought me out. I moved to the United States and I moved into this co-sharing office in a company called WeWork. Now WeWork became a poster child, a multi-billion-dollar company. It was invested in by SoftBank. Anyway, they in the end were opening one of these co-working spaces somewhere in the world every 3 days. At their peak, I think they were valued at $50 billion. But I was their first California tenant when they only had 7 outlets globally. They ended up with hundreds of them globally. And so I rented this little space. It was $300 US a month when they were first starting out. And I got a phone call one day in the office, and it was one of the founders, a guy called Adam Newman, who is very famous if you Google him now for all the wrong reasons. But Adam basically, he was one of the founders. He became a multi-billionaire. And he rang me and said, Adam, I hear you're one of our first clients in Los Angeles. Would you like to come to a party in New York? We're putting on a 4-day event. It's in upstate New York. If you fly over, we'll give you access to the thing for free. And I was like so busy at the early stages of starting my animation company. It was just me. I didn't have a salesperson. I was just getting a Google guy to do my ads. I was taking all the calls. I was on my own trying to get this thing going. And I said, you know what, I'm going to go. And Adam wasn't a billionaire at this stage. He was a startup guy. He had 7 little offices. He just got a couple of $1 million in funding. And interestingly, out of that situation, the people I met was amazing. But I jumped on a plane, went over to upstate New York. They picked us up in a coach on the doorstep of the National History Museum in Manhattan. And we took a bus ride up into upstate New York into a place called the Adirondacks. When I got there, we were playing volleyball. I hung out with Adam and a few of the other tenants. There's probably about 200 of us there, and we were all the WeWork tenants in the world at that time out of Los Angeles. When I say a couple hundred, I mean from Los Angeles and other places. And we were playing volleyball, and Adam said, hey guys, come and sit down. I've got a friend, one of our investors has just landed. This little seaplane landed, and this guy came ashore in board shorts. They said, this is Kevin Plank, founder of Under Armour, and he was worth about $6 billion at that moment. And we got to sit around the campfire from a meter these guys away, and I got to sit there and ask this guy questions about how he built Under Armour and how that company began and became the multi-billion-dollar success story it is. From there, I went home. I became friends with the people either side of me, people who are both startup hustlers. One of them's now got a $50 million company traded on the ASX. Another guy's now retired in his early 30s in South America. He's from LA, got out for the taxes, made a fortune out of a company called Soothe.com. He was the founder of that. But I said yes to everything. I put myself in these rooms, and I would, at expense, right? Either an expense of time or an expense of money. One of the other ones I went to was an event put on also in upstate New York by a guy called Yannick Silva. And I was desperately trying to figure out, I wanted to build an 8-figure software company, a company worth 8 figures. And at that time, Zonguru was me and 3 Indians that I would fucking happily kill because they'd driven me to the edge of my sanity developing this thing. And I ended up replacing them with an Eastern European crew that built it. But there was literally just me trying to figure this thing out, try to build this Amazon software. And I was spending $10,000 a month on these 3 Indian guys that were building it. And it was horrible and it wasn't working well, and we had 10 customers. My gross income from Zonguru was $400 a month. This was before I met John. And I got this email, come to this event. I thought, that's the last thing I need to do, but I'm in America, I'm going to go over. I went to this event, and Yannick Silva said, who was the guy running the event, all right, rip out a piece of paper, because there is multi-millionaires in this room who are in all kinds of industries. Open this bit of paper, write on this bit of paper who you want to meet, what your goal is. I said, I want to build an 8-figure software company. I want to meet somebody who could teach me that. So he had to make it into a paper plane and throw it into the room. I threw this paper plane in the room, and they said, somebody will pick it up who knows somebody who'll be able to help you with that. Well, my airplane got handed to this guy called Dan Martell. Dan Martell had a company called Clarity.fm, sold it for millions of dollars, and today runs one of the best private high-end platinum-style mentoring groups for people building SaaS software companies. And Dan and I became friends when we went on board with John. When I recruited John to run ZonGuru, Dan's been mentoring us to grow ZonGuru to where it is today. And we're just about to take on $3 million of funding at a $28 million valuation for that company. Now, that came from me, first of all, putting myself in the way of success, going to America, going all in on that crazy ambitious dream of saying, I'm not here to fuck around. I am going to go to America and I'm going to win. And that's where I discovered Amazon. It's where I built my animation company. It's where I met Dan Martell. It's where I met Raj, who you're going to meet in a minute, and a whole bunch of people who are still very near and dear in my life. Some of them are now billionaires, some of them are multi-millionaires, 100 millionaires and so on, from putting myself in these rooms. And Dan was critical in mentoring us to get us to where we are today, where only 17% of our new business today comes from reliable education customers. It comes from all the other activities that we now do around the world with ZonGuru and our partnership that's just about to open in China, a whole bunch of other stuff that we haven't really talked about publicly. The last one I want to tell you about is another invitation which I went to, which was an event that was being put on in Boulder in Colorado. And again, it was $6,000 to go to this thing, and I thought, I don't want to go, but I should go. I want to meet people. I want to grow my network. So I bought the ticket, and Boulder is in the middle of America. It's a freaking hour drive from the airport to get to the event. When I got to the event, unbeknownst to me, Elon Musk's brother, Kimball, was there as a surprise guest speaker, as was, and you had to go to the thing. On the first night, they had a cocktail thing, and I sit down, and this Indian guy sitting next to me. And I said, oh, what's your name? He said, I'm Raj Jaina. I said, hey, Raj, I'm Adam. What do you do? He says, I'm an Amazon seller. I said, no shit, so am I. And we became friends. He was just starting out. I'd just started out, and we became mates. And I said, dude, I'm starting this up, and I'm doing this. And I also I've just started selling an Amazon course back home in Australia. And he said, oh, what do you need? Who do you need to meet? And I said, oh, we need a really good YouTube guy. He says, you've got to talk to this fellow over here. And he introduced me to this guy who went on to help us do tens of millions of dollars in sales of our programs, because I was in the room and I was there, intentionally there to build relationships. And we've had the same guy running our traffic for all those years, who's a secret weapon of ours that we don't give out to anybody, who just happened to be there at the same time. How did I get to meet Kimball? They said, you got to pay, I think it was $2,000. This is how uncrowded it is for committed people. $2,000, and you can sit down and have dinner with Kimball, and the $2,000 goes to his kids' charity, because his passion, Kimball's a billionaire in his own right a couple of times over from investing in Elon's companies. At that time, he's worth a lot more now because of where Tesla stock has gone. But Kimball said, $2,000 a seat, and I'll take you to one of my restaurants downtown, because he has a farm-to-table restaurants where he has them all over America. And his passion is building restaurants where local farmers sell directly to his restaurants. And his charity is in teaching kids where food comes from. And he said, teaching kids to grow and then pull the carrots out of the ground, and watching their face when they go, oh my God, I grew that. And they pull the carrot out and lights them up. Kimball's a very different beast to Elon. He's a lovely, lovely guy. So Raj and I both forked over the $2,000, and then we got to sit and have dinner with Kimball and hang out with him for a night. And what that did to my psychology, to listen to him tell us about him and Elon as children, and how the way that they think about the world, blew my mind. And it's not changed. It shaped me in a different way, because I bought access to 1 hour of Kimball's time, and then I couldn't believe it. But at the end of the night, he said, I'll tell you what, let's do an auction and see how much we can get for a hike with me, because I love hiking, and I'll go for a hike with with whoever wins the auction. And the highest bid, this is how uncompetitive it is, right? For people who get the value of exposure to the right mind, it was $2,000, right? And then he said, does anybody else wants to go for a walk for $2,000? You're in as well. So I put up the money and had a chance to do that as well. This is what it means to be intentional. It's not being a spectator, it's going with intention. And the underutilization of opportunity is just extraordinary in our community. And I don't mean taking the piss, and we've seen people take the piss in our community, right? And take advantage, right? And these are people that just lack integrity. But I mean strategically build real relationships and play the long game with those relationships. And those people who do that build relationships and add value over time, are the ones that win. So that's what I've done for years. And a lot of people go, how come you've got this amazing international network of good people? It's because I didn't come into the world with my hand out. I came into the world with my hand to give. How can I add value? Raj, what can I do to help you? And Raj is exactly the same. He's never asked for anything. How can I give? What can I do for you? And I watched Raj go on that journey, and now at the age of 30, have this company where he's investing in other companies, investing in other entrepreneurs, and you're going to hear the story we're going to jump on right now with him. I think we're ready to go. So all I wanted to point out through all these stories for you guys is that if you're going to be in a community like this, and when we put on these events and give you opportunities to come together and be at these accelerators, just always say yes. Just always put yourself in the room. Don't sit and think about it. You fuck around and spill $80 at the bar, and people hesitate to invest in themselves. Don't ever, ever, ever hesitate to invest in yourself. That is the one lesson that if you learn anything from Sam, the first thing he did was get the education. Because the one sentence, the one thing you hear from Angela, the one thing you hear from Raj, the one thing you hear from Daniel and Felicia just now is it's inquantifiable what it's worth to you. But you've got to get yourself there, and you've got to be open, and you've got to be present. As a result of doing that and building relationships over time, it's extraordinary what happens. When you talk to Georgie, who just won, Georgie, who was here the other night when we got our awards, her and her sister have been with us for 3.5 years. They started with us, right? Bought our Amazon course, started with us. This year, Gemma, I think, is 30 years old, and I think Georgie might be 34 or something. This year, they're on track to do $5 million on Amazon. And they started 3.5 years from our course, right? But I've seen Gemma and Georgie all over the world at all these events. They're not just with us, they're at all the events. They're educating. They're in our platinum, they're in 2 or 3 other platinums as well that are offered by other companies or PPC groups or whatever else. They've just doubled down and invested in themselves, taken their profits, invested in their business, and they're on track for a big, big exit down the line. So pretty exciting stuff. So open your mind. We're going to run an ad. We're going to come back in 60 seconds or so, and I'm going to be on live with Raj. This guy will open your mind to what's possible if you are open to being, at your full potential. This is a kid in his 20s that has got so much to teach us, so much heart, so much passion, and let's get him on. I'll see you in a second with Raj Jaina on the line.
Hi guys, it's Hayley here. I hope you're enjoying the Accelerator. A quick reminder that you have until Sunday to take advantage of the super reduced price that we're offering for the Shopify course. I'm so excited to share all of the lessons that I've learned throughout this whole journey of being on Shopify. And look, a lot of you may already know or think that you know that where we make our money is in selling blue light blocking glasses. Well, you wouldn't be completely wrong because that is the main product that I sell. However, one of the key tricks to Shopify is nailing the art of this. Yes, this is just a chain, but it's more than just a chain. This is one of the things that we're using on our Shopify store as an upsell. Now, nailing the art of the upsell is such an important part of creating a profitable Shopify business, and I'm going to talk to you more about this in the Shopify course on what exactly makes a great upsell, downsell, cross-sell, and everything else in between. So remember, you have until Sunday to take advantage of the super reduced price, and I cannot wait to see you in the Shopify course. Bye for now.
All right, well, we are now over with our good friend Raj Jaina in Austin, Texas. Raj, thank you for joining us tonight. We really appreciate your time. First of all, congratulations on the coronavirus haircut. We are very impressed since we last saw you with the short back and sides. Welcome back to the show. How are you?
I'm so great, man. It's so good to see you, and I'm so grateful for just another chance to connect and go deep.
Well, first of all, we wanted to thank you for joining us. And I know you were our most popular speaker at the event that you spoke at. And I get asked all the time, when are we going to get Raj back? But on behalf of the whole community, we do want to send you lots of love because we know this has been a big year for you. You had coronavirus yourself, but more than that, you lost 2 family members in a month to COVID. And we can't imagine what you've been going through. So on behalf of everyone at Reliable, lots of love being sent your way, and thanks for making the time to be here. So
thanks so much, man. Appreciate it.
Our pleasure. So for those of you who don't know Raj, I met at a conference in Boulder, Colorado. He sat down right next to me at an event. I said, What do you do? What do you do? We both figured out we were selling on Amazon, and we became friends pretty much right away. We went and hung out with Elon Musk's brother together at a dinner in Boulder. And as soon as I met Raj, I was like, this kid is smart and he's doing great things. He ended up coming to speak at our conference. He started selling, of all things, coffee grinders on Amazon and became the #1 seller, I think, of manual coffee grinders on Amazon. Today, the business does about $4.3 million US at an EBITDA of between 1.2 and 1.5 million dollars, which is super amazing. And some of that revenue is from recurring revenue because he sells coffee products like beans and consumables as well, which is a really smart pivot. And so we're going to talk to Raj today about how he built the company a little bit, but also what he's been up to lately. And it's pretty exciting times because you're preparing the company for a sale. So Raj, let's start at the beginning. Like, what drew you initially to starting in the coffee niche, and was it your first product?
So when I first started in entrepreneurship, Amazon wasn't my first thing I wanted to do. The first thing I wanted to do was actually start a software company, and I had bought a course that taught me how to start a software company from scratch. And my first niche that I chose for that was beer and breweries because I loved beer and breweries. And so I kind of chased my passion into business, and that didn't work out for me very well. It didn't work out at all, actually. It led to me finding people just like me who couldn't pay for products, and it led to me sort of being very disappointed. So when I got into the Amazon space, I actually removed passion from the equation altogether. I didn't care about what I was selling. I wanted to sell something that was rooted in numbers, that was rooted in truth, that was something that could sustain over time, over multiple channels. And so when I started looking at it strictly from the numbers basis, coffee made sense. And so coffee was just an attractive niche. There were multiple sellers selling in every product category for the coffee niche. There were new sellers being received quickly. I just saw a lot of signs that allowed me to say, okay, you know what? If I do my best and if I go out there and I learn everything and I put everything on the table, coffee is a niche that I will probably be successful in and make enough to make me happy for my goals and what I needed for me to leave my full-time job at the time and jump full-time into entrepreneurship. So I think there was a lot more numbers based in when I initially jumped into Amazon than prior experiences and So that's why when I came in, like I wasn't going to make the same mistakes twice, and I was going to put in extra effort choosing the right product ahead of time instead of needing to launch multiple products, experience the failures, and then get back into it later. So I think a lot of the work that I put in ahead of time to choose the right product ended up leading to me not needing to launch many products. I actually launched one product and just found a million ways to sell it. And here we have a $4.5 million company. So it's been a beautiful journey. It's been a wonderful, beautiful journey with a lot of lessons. But it all started with the numbers.
So you're 29 today, Raj, which blows my mind when we're going to dig into the next part of this conversation. How old were you when you started on Amazon? How long have you been selling on Amazon?
So I launched my first product September of 2015. So September of 2015. So that was 25
years ago.
I think.
Yeah,
about 5 years ago.
Okay, so one of the keys, and I'm really interested in zeroing in on this for a minute, is that you now have a utility patent on your product. Tell us about what a utility patent is for those who don't understand, how you got it. I believe you worked with Eric, who is how I met. Eric is through you. And how have you been able to use that utility patent to protect your market and massively grow it recently? So just unpack that for us a little bit.
Sure. So a utility patent, for anybody who's interested, is just a level of, it's a patent with a level of protection that has a lot more enforceability than a design patent. So a design patent is the way something looks. So you can get a design patent on a handle, you can get a design patent on like the sleekness of something, but that's really easy to rip off and it's really hard to defend in a lot of cases. A utility patent, though, is something that actually improves the form or function of a product. So for us, a few years ago, we ended up hiring a industrial designer to take a look at an existing product on the market and find a way to improve the actual functionality of the product. And in our case, it was the burr. So we have this now patented burr that sits inside of all of our grinders, which has improved the quality of the product. It's separated us from all of the other competitors out there. But that's how it initially started. So we went back to the drawing board, took an existing product. And I'll say this, like, I didn't start investing in product development until we were already generating like millions. Like I was like, I got to that place where it was like, you know, marketing is way more important ahead of time. Branding is way more important ahead of time. Like, I didn't want to waste any money on anything that wasn't going to lead to sales. So I didn't actually start looking. I started selling in 2015. I didn't actually start looking for a patent we didn't actually start developing the burr until 2017. So, you know, that's just a big mindset, I think, for me. Like, especially when you're starting out, it's really, really, really important to make sure all of your money is going into sales and marketing, because if you're not putting your money into sales and marketing, you're not going to be able to generate the cash flow and the profit necessary to then come back and build the actual value of the asset that you want to sell, if you want to sell one day, or build the value of the asset that you want to protect if you want to have a little bit of peace of mind going to bed, especially if you're selling on Amazon and there's competitors. So, you know, to me, cash flow is king. So in the beginning, that's where I was thinking. But when I had enough cash flow, I was always thinking about, all right, what can I do to protect my lead even more? What can I do to make this more valuable even more? And that's when the patent came in. So we applied for it in 2017. We got it granted at the end of 2019. So we got it granted then, and then we started enforcing it against, because we realized almost every single competitor on the market had actually started creating burrs that were very, very, very similar to the new burr that we had created. And so they had made their own product improvements, but we were able to prove that our improvements came earlier. And so we essentially, instead of trying to increase market share and increase marketing, we just went after every single competitor on the market because they were infringing on what we had built. So we went through the legal process. We went through Amazon's system, and Amazon essentially granted us, we went through their process called the Amazon Neutral Evaluation Program, where they give us a lawyer, we get a lawyer, and then we present our cases. And then essentially they did like a mini arbitration. and they granted us, they said that, hey, if this went to court, you're likely going to win. So we're going to give you authority to remove every single competitor that is infringing on your burr, as long as you can prove it. So that then allowed us to almost double sales, increase profitability like crazy, and set us up to have a wonderful story as we get the company ready for an exit. Because, you know, a patent you usually have for, I think, 18 to 20 years. So, you know, this is just the first year that we've been able to enforce it and enjoy the luxury of it. So it's been a lot of fun kind of crafting that story of like, hey, look, we did all the hard work, enjoy the fruits of our investments, our cash, our labor. You get to just have this cash flowing king of a company that is just going to give you, and maybe even fund some of the other companies you use. So it's just changed the way that we sell and position the company for a potential acquisition.
Yeah, that's got to be super valuable in an acquisition, to know that the income stream is protected through a utility patent that has been heard in an arbitration, and Amazon has already come down on your side and said, you can go ahead. And you're talking about literally, if you see an infringing company, you can tick a box kind of thing, and that product's off. Is that right?
Yep. As long as they're the same kind of, so when we went through the arbitration, we went against two different styles of grinders because they were using burrs that were similar to ours. So we can't remove products that weren't, that if they have their own unique burr, or if they're doing their own thing, like, we don't touch them. But if they're a product that is exactly like the ones that we got authority to remove, we usually get them removed. And usually it's the same factories making the same products anyways. So more than likely these competitors are just sourcing products from factories that are now lying about the fact that, you know, there isn't a utility patent, just go get the money. So, you know, like, it's been a really interesting kind of, like, we've had a few competitors try to fight back, and it just doesn't go anywhere because we have a utility patent. And so it's like, what are you going to do? Like, they try to, you know, it's just been interesting, like, kind of getting like fight backs from factories. They're like, we have this patent. And I'm just like, you don't have a patent in the US, and that's not a legal patent. And it's just been fascinating. It's been such a learning experience for me, getting to go back through that way of growing revenue instead of just the traditional marketing and sales.
The Kevin O'Leary method, it seems, which is great. So how much did it cost to do that arbitration process with your lawyers going and sitting down with their lawyers with Amazon? What did that cost, and how long did that take? Just ballpark.
I mean, it cost us close to about 150 to 200. So, I mean, it wasn't cheap. Right. And we hired really good lawyers. Yeah. So, I mean, if there's one thing I would highly recommend anybody, if there's, like, lawyers and tax attorneys are worth their weight in gold. So, you know, those resources for me, like, we invest in the best. Like, we have our own in-house finance team now. We have our own in-house legal counsel that kind of looks at everything. And so it's been, I can't recommend that enough. And it was over, I think, a 6-month period. We started in October and we officially got through in April.
Dude, I wish I had hours to talk to you. There's so much I would love to drill in with you. But in the interest of time, for tonight's Accelerator program, let's move forward, because we might get you back later for a longer interview, because I think so much valuable stuff in here. But we were talking pre-interview about the breakup of your revenue. So about 85% of your revenue today comes from Amazon. Is that Amazon globally, or is it mostly in the US?
We don't sell anywhere other than the US. We have too much demand in the US, and I didn't have the supply chain set up to be able to accommodate different marketplaces. One of the things we did to raise valuation of the company was actually create our own molds, though. So now we have our own molds, which has allowed us to quadruple production. So I think in 2021, we're already making a retail push. We have an entire retail team in place that's taking care of that. Like, we're probably going to go internationally, but we're also kind of keeping some meat on the bone for a buyer, right? Like, it's really important to have, like, you know, like, you don't want to do everything. You want to leave some meat on the bone and say, hey, look, we were too busy getting this ready so that you can enjoy the fruits of our labor. So, you know, we're kind of I'm very cognizant of having enough upside to sell a buyer especially a strategic buyer who's going to be more of an emotional sell than somebody who's just looking at the numbers. So I keep these types of things in my pocket just as like a sprinkle on top. Like, I mean, how much more revenue profit are we going to make and what's the EBITDA on that? But if I think about the multiple jump that we would have by potentially telling somebody that there's, you know, hundreds of countries that they can reach, like that upside to me feels much more valuable to have than to just sell it myself and get into the headache of that. Like, it just feels like rather pass that
into
along to
Amazon. I mean, yeah, just to Amazon marketplaces alone. And when I put together the Pangea document that you would have seen when you came down for our summit, we were teaching people how to sell a company. You're selling a story, and that's why the document opened with my reasons for sale, and it was pretty much exactly that. I put every dollar back into it for 5 years, and I'm exhausted, and now it's gotten to a point where it can either expand or whatever, but I just need to take a breather. And in other words, I'm a wounded soldier, and you can take advantage, you know. And it is true. I mean, there is retail distribution opportunities.
It's so important to give them that because, you know, nobody wants to buy something that's peaked. Like nobody wants that, because if you even think about why somebody's buying, they're buying from an excited place. Like, imagine how you were when you started out in business. You were like learning everything. You wanted to do this, do that. Like, so it's almost like you have to put yourself back in your shoes when you started and remember the origin point of truth. Like, what was the origin point of why you got into business in the first place? And if you can put yourself in that shoes when you're thinking about a buyer, it makes so much sense. And you start to actually craft the story necessary to meet them where they're at, and then get excited with them again too. Like, you're tapping into your like it's been really beautiful for me to go back like 5 years and really tap into like, how did I feel when I first started? Like, what were the things I was excited about? And what did my journal entries say? Like, what was I thinking about? And going back and revisiting that has allowed me to like bring this energy into the interaction with potential buyers or potential people even prepping our company for sale, because the more excited they get, the more money they're going to want to pay me. So it's almost going back to that and just meeting people where they're at and meeting people where you want them to be, which I think is something that isn't talked enough about, but it's been super valuable for me as I've been kind of bringing in different people to help with the exit itself.
So when you say where you want them to be, you're talking about knowing the type of buyer. Is that what you mean? And if so, who is the buyer for your business?
I'm talking about knowing the type, knowing the type of buyer, but then also understanding the way they need to feel in order for you to get the multiple you want. So like, how does somebody need to feel in order for them to give you maybe a 5x multiple instead of a 3? Like, they need to feel excited. They need to feel like there's lots of upside. They need to feel like this brand means something to them on an emotional level. Like, there's all these things. So you can almost like reverse engineer what they need to feel and experience in order for you to get the multiple you want to have, and then deliver a sales pitch or invest in certain assets or buy certain, like, we've been buying different assets, whether it's, you know, buying blogs or buying different traffic sources or buying things to just make things sexier, because we know that that's what's going to be necessary in order for the buyer to feel like he's getting, or he or she is getting, a very sexy asset. So it's almost like you're just reverse engineering the experience you want them to have and then delivering it to them exactly in the way they want to have it.
Yeah. So you've got the Stay Grounded podcast, which is kind of really a clever play on words around your brand. And then you've been buying blogs. And so you're buying the traffic off these non-Amazon based traffic sources, which are are they coffee blogs? What, walk us through a couple of these transactions.
So like we have an entire SEO team that identifies blogs, writers, different people that send traffic to our sites. So we'll start to look at those assets, see if there's ways that we can either work out equity deals. So like, it's not like we'll actually go buy the blog. We'll actually work out a deal with them where we'll help them grow their blog. So I have a full stack in-house marketing team, Facebook ads, Amazon ads, Google SEO. So we do everything in-house now. So like, we'll just go up to these blogs and just say, hey, we'll help you grow your blog. Give us a piece of the pie that we can then sell when we leave this company. but we'll in exchange for it, we'll help you grow your traffic. And, you know, as you grow your traffic, give us the #1 spots. Like, there's a lot of ways to negotiate things that we can then use as leverage to go and do what we want to do. The podcast initially started as a way for me to create content around the lifestyle of what I believed of JavaPress stood for, which was helping people use coffee to live happier and more fulfilling lives. And Stay Grounded kind of started out as a tagline and a way for me to kind of anchor in a content strategy that could allow a more holistic sort of brand identity. Over time, it grew into something much different, much bigger, something much more personal to me. And now it's its own entity. But we still use the content from the podcast to nurture relationships, because what we found, interestingly enough, are people who listen to the podcast spend 10 times as much money on coffee, which has been a super interesting data point for us. So we still use the podcast content because they're building a relationship with me. And you know, the quality of the content on the podcast is really high. So, you know, these are people that are very interested in what the mission of the brand is. And so that's another asset too, but it's been really interesting for me because I don't want Stay Grounded to go with the sale. So over the last year, we've actually been slowly removing me from being like the face of the company, because I also don't want to be somebody who's like doing consulting for another 2 years either. Like I want to kind of have a clean exit. So over the last year, we've been strategically sort of replacing my face with other people and really just using the podcast in very selective ways that allow that will allow for a clean break when we do exit. So it's also really interesting. It's really important to be mindful of what you want post exit, because like if you're clear about the role you want to play post exit, what do you want to do next? Like, I would never recommend selling a company until you know exactly kind of where you want to be next, because I think that when you have that vision of where you want to be next and what's important to you, you start to reverse engineer steps and set the company up in a specific way that allows you to actually get what you want later. So I think like my exit's going to be a springboard for the next companies, the next deals, the next fund that I begin, because I know exactly where I'm headed. I know exactly where I'm going to put the money. I know exactly what's going to come next. And I know exactly what's required of me to step away. So I think those are just some really good questions to be asking yourself as you're sort of setting up the company. And it'll allow you to also figure out what kind of buyer you want, which is ultimately, again, you're designing an experience for them to pay you the amount of money you want. So that once you have all those pieces on paper, you can connect the dots and hopefully walk away with a nice big fat check.
Yeah. And so the multiple you're going for, do you have a multiple target for your business right now that you're heading toward?
Yeah, we're shooting for a 5 to 7.
Okay.
Which is higher than what a traditional e-com. It's higher than what a traditional e-commerce business goes for, but that's because we're not a traditional e-commerce business. Like the way we're positioning the company, the assets we're investing in, I mean, the story, I mean, the type of buyers we're going for, like because of all these specific factors, it's a lot more effort up front. Like if I just went to a P&E firm, you know, they'd give me a flat, you know, I don't even know, 2 on EBITDA or something like that. Like, and I could get that done and walk away quickly, but I worked really hard on this brand. So I'm willing to put in a lot of time and effort up front to walk away with a few more million in the bank, which then I can go use for a lot of good. Like I know what I would do with that money. And so, you know, for me, it's worth the effort to actually do the necessary work to build a story and build assets and build an actual collection of assets. Really, you're just building a collection of assets that are attractive to somebody who wants to buy you.
Raj, I could talk all day to you, but we are out of time. I did want to mention about your story that I think
Let's do this again, bro. I always love seeing you.
I know. It's like it's supposed to be 20 minutes and it's already running longer. But one of the things I loved is you started with a piece of physical hardware. You now have a recurring 15% of your revenue is from recurring consumables through your website, which is valued quite differently to a one-time sale on a marketplace. So it's really awesome. And look, we will get you back, Raj, because there's so much more, but tonight we just don't have the time to keep going with the whole schedule. But thank you so much for coming. I know you've just recovered from COVID yourself. You've had a big year, and we hope that you guys get America sorted out for the rest of the world to be able to rest and relax. And we're sending you lots of love in your crazy land.
Me too, man. Me
Dude,
too.
we can't wait for the airports to open up and get you back down, or we'll come up and see you soon. So, dude, thank you so much.
For
I
sure,
appreciate
brother.
it. And good luck with your exit. I'm super pumped for you.
Thank you so much, brother. It's been an honor and a privilege.
All right, thanks, Adam. I am over here in Los Angeles, well into the evening. I'm sure a lot of you are seeing the craziness happening over here in the US and in the news. But one great thing about 2020 has been the massive growth of e-commerce. It has been totally insane. We see it in the data, and we have had our heads down developing brand new tools to bring value to you guys and make you successful with your business. And what I thought I would touch on right now is some of the big hitter, game-changing tools that are coming out in the next few weeks, next few months, that are going to be really impactful to you and your business. And I'm going to start with the biggest hitter of all, which is we are going to be the first company in the world to be totally integrated research and seller tools in the US, Australia, and the UK. That is coming up. We are super excited about it. And obviously, especially Australia. You know, Adam was just talking about the massive growth of Amazon Australia. It is insane to see. You guys are at the forefront. We want to make sure we give you the tools so you can find products and scale on Amazon Australia or any other market globally. You know, and what does that mean? It's tools like Niche Rater with the rainbow, so you can validate product ideas for your specific markets. It's Keywords on Fire, it's Listing Optimizer, and everything in between. It's going to be available to you guys, and we are super excited about that. What else is coming? Well, a big update to Product Pulse. If you guys have been using that tool, you'll know it is the best tool to have market intelligence on your competitors and also understand your listing and changes that happen on it and how it affects sales so that you can react to your competitors in the marketplace. That is getting a big upgrade with some trends and historical tracking. It's going to be awesome. And then another big one is inventory management. We have a massive upgrade happening there to really help you stay in stock, order stock from your 3PL, from Amazon FBA, and how you can manage that whole process. It's critical to stay in stock with Amazon so you can really scale your business effectively. These are all coming to you in the next bit. I'm super excited to be announcing these tools to you over the next few weeks and months. Zonguri is growing 3 times the size of what it is right now in complexity, and we're going to be offering that to you. Now, there will be an add-on fee for different markets. The good news is that if you sign up today at that offer that we've put together, zonguru.com/RE, sign up with that offer, you'll be locked in for 12 months at the price that you pay today, and there will be no additional fees for access to these markets. If you are an existing customer, you can still get access to all of that. Simply logging in and switching to an annual offer, which will lock you in for 12 months, or renewing your annual offer, which will lock you into an additional 12 months from today. That's it. I wish you well for Q4 sales. It is booming right now. We are just seeing crazy growth. We are all ready for it. I wish you the best for the holidays and for 2021, and I hope to see you all soon. That's me, John, from Zonguru. I'm handing it back over to you, Adam, for the rest of the Accelerator. Cheers for now.
And we are back. How good was Raj? Like, so awesome. I love spending time with him. And yeah, he's just such a chill dude. And to know what he knows at 30 years old just blows my mind. Hey, imagine being that smart at 30. So hopefully you guys got a lot out of that. And as I said, you know, watching Raj over that period of time has just been extraordinary and inspiring. And so much of what he just spoke about is applicable to not only Amazon businesses, but any business. I think it's really, really valuable. So for those of you who don't know who Angela is, let me introduce you. This is Angela Hartnett. Angela is one of our very, very early students. Do you know what number you were? No?
I think Joe told me once, 635 or something or other.
Yeah,
something
that's
like
still
that.
early.
Yeah.
635.
Yeah.
But we've known each other. How long is it, Angela? Do you know?
2006.
2006.
Yeah.
Okay, so
years.
15 years
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Wow. And so Angela and I met each other through the capital raising business many years ago, where Joe and I worked together, and Angela headed things up out there in Perth, which was kind of interesting, and she's now on the Sunshine Coast. Angela's story started with us as an Amazon seller. As soon as we spoke about it, we both knew you're going to be great at this, and joined our coaching program. And just tell us those early days. What was your first foray? How did things start for you?
So I joined the Reliable Academy in January 2017. I had an 18-month-old baby at the time and was desperately trying to find something to do to keep my brain active, and obviously have a side hustle. I have got a bricks and mortar business, but I was basically pushed out of that while I had a baby. And as soon as I saw it, it was something that I knew that all my skill set kind of aligned, and there was lots that I still had to learn, but it just clicked for me. So it didn't take me very long to, it was sort of a day and night pushing the pram, listening to the various lessons and things as I pushed the pram, and I think it was within 6 months that I'd gone live. I think it was the 21st of July 2017 I went live with my first product. I spent a lot of time understanding who my avatar was and then finding the correct product for my avatar. That was very important to me. And that product went well, and it's still going well to this day.
That was a big revelation at the time for a lot of people who were out there looking for a product. You designed the person you wanted to sell to first, and through that lens went and looked at various product categories and said, is there a product there that this person would buy? Which you would describe them as a cooler, hipper version of you.
That's right. I was having trouble finding a product because everything I looked at, it was like a shotgun approach, and I needed a way of bringing it all down to something more meaningful to me. So I decided to find an audience first. I'll find an avatar and someone I wanted to serve first, and the person that I knew most was me. And so I just made a better version of me and what would that person want. And then I developed a brand, and then I went out and found products that would fit into that brand. So that wouldn't work for everyone to do it that way, because you're obviously limiting then down your product searches as well. But I have experience in marketing and things anyway, so I just brought that to the table first. But it helped me find my product and my market, and made them align right from the start. So it made everything easier for me that way. So
the story was, we'll get this bit out of the way and then we'll go back to the other bit. You went rhino, double rhino, triple rhino, and within a hair of white rhino, but you ran out of stock, like $1,000 before or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, something, I don't even know.
It was so close.
It was horrible.
You got the 909, whatever it was.
I think it was about $3,000.
$3,000 short of $1 million in 1 year.
Yes.
And you ran out of inventory, which is a bugger.
Yes.
But there you go, them's the breaks.
That's right.
So that's all great, but there was lots of ups and downs along the way.
Oh, lots of ups and downs.
What were some of the challenges that you went through? Because, to start with, you had a brand new baby. You were doing this literally in the middle of the night.
Totally. Research. Well, he was 18 months old when I started, so I had to do everything around him. So after hours, there's just no time during the day when you've got a kid. So you just make the time. And to be honest, I did more then than I do now. And I was more motivated then too, and it was an exciting learning process. So it wasn't hard for me to put the baby to bed and stay up and do some work on it. It's all very exciting. So, but lots and lots of ups and downs. I had one product for a while and was on that one product seesaw where you're out of stock, you're making no money, anything can happen. So I was very quickly wanted to find a second product that would even that out for me. So I didn't have much money to invest because all my money was being eaten up in inventory for the first product. And I say all my money, I didn't have that much to invest. I think it was $30,000 all up that I put into it to start with. So I looked for a second product that was, at the time it was a good idea, air freightable, easy to make, quick to make, cheap to make. I invested $5,000 into it. It was something that came from my own head. I made it up. And I thought I'd do my dough. I thought it would be a $5,000 throw into the toilet, but it took 3 months to sell the first 1,000, and then it took 3 weeks to sell the next 1,000.
Wow.
And I could never keep up with stock again. But that was a poison chalice because then it was air freightable, cheap to make. any Chinese seller could sell it basically and make it. And
did.
I was overrun. I think I had 100, I can't even remember, I had hundreds of competitors in the end. So I went down the path of a design patent, didn't even know what it was to start with, had to learn really quickly. Even within the community, there wasn't enough knowledge around that at that time, so I made lots of mistakes, spent lots of money, but eventually got my design patent, and that enabled me to push out all of those competitors. So now that product is basically not doing very much either because it's something that's been caught up in COVID. So it's just...
But where did that go? That one product went to, and where?
Crazy. I think it made up the bulk of the fund of that $330,000 a month.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And that was a $5,000 starter.
Yeah, that
Amazing.
I actually thought I was an idiot doing it.
Yeah,
I
well,
thought it
my
was a
most
crazy
successful
idea.
product was one where the supplier said, Adam, you should take some of these. I think they'll do really well.
Yeah.
And I went, all right, give me 1,000 of those.
Yeah.
And I did, and it became my best seller.
Yeah.
And was generating, I don't know, 50 grand a month consistently.
Yeah. That product isn't dead now. It's pretty much dead on Amazon, but I'm now dealing with some retail stores in the US. I've got a buyer over there, and it's a very interesting product for that market at the moment for other reasons. So, so I think it's going to get another lift because I have the patent, because I can put it into the US with no one else putting it in there. So I think it's gone through a big dip, but I think I'm going to get another spike out of that. Hopefully in the next sort of 3 or 4 months. So, but in a whole different area. So
today you have 2 brands, right?
now, yes, I have 2 brands.
You had 3,
yes,
and you sold one to somebody who's probably watching tonight.
I did,
yeah.
yes.
And I've seen the brand.
Yeah.
It is beautiful what you have done there. It's a beautiful brand, beautiful products.
Yeah.
I know the person watching is going to do great.
Yeah.
How did you put that together? Like, what was the story behind putting that brand together?
I wanted to reduce my risk by having more than one brand.
Yeah.
So I started developing some products. I didn't have any money to put into it. I'm still trying to fund the inventory and the other business, but I have lots of ideas. I'm an ideas person, creator.
You're a creator.
Total creator. So I had all of these ideas, and just talking with people at events and platinum things and whatever else, got friendly with some people in platinum, and I was trying to help them with some ideas. They just didn't have any. They came to me in the end and said, we know you've got some ideas, we don't know what they are, but would you be considered going into a partnership? And I was like, oh, I'm not sure. I've had some...
I love that they asked.
And they didn't just, we developed a friendship and a mutual...
First.
They were amazing people. They're amazing people. So I had a lot of respect for them. Anyway, I said, yeah, we can do that. We were very clear going into the partnership. Full partnership agreements and everything with the intent that we were going to grow this business. They were going to do the daily work. I'm bringing the ideas, a bit of mentorship and stuff to it. But we wanted to grow that business to a $3 million exit. We had a very clear plan on what we wanted to do with that. And our roles were very clearly defined, so we all knew what we were doing. They're very smart people, very creative. And so, we launched with I had 3 products available to literally start straight away. We launched 2 of those in October last year, and they are amazing with their creative style. So their skill set and my skill set just blended beautifully. Yeah. We launched in 2019 with the intent to just make some sales for numbers on paper for us exit, and when COVID came, we had no intent to do anything but grow it. But my business, my bricks and mortar business, was severely affected by COVID, so I had to move to do some stuff with that. Didn't have any time left, and their business went really well.
Through the roof.
Yeah, so none of us had any time, and we're trying to discuss what we wanted to do with this thing that had only been alive for about 4 months or a little bit more. And I said, well, we could probably sell it. So we decided to sell it. So we put together a Pangea style document, which you've seen. And we were lucky enough to find an awesome person to buy that business. And I now work with her to basically work her through. She's bought a business in a box. It is beautiful, and it will do
100%.
very well. We did everything with the intent of making it into a $3 million exit. So,
and it shows in the document and everything.
Yeah.
And this is what I want people at home to understand, is that when you create value, there are just different people at different places on the value chain. And there are probably a lot of people watching tonight that would love the idea of someone like you having sourced the idea, created the brand, done all the sourcing of the products as well, created the listings, done the photography, and to be able to come along and buy that off you. This is the value of the intellectual property that you've learned. And you could theoretically, if you wanted to, stamp out one of those every 6 months, and that could be your business almost, and there's winners all the way through there. Because for them, like one of the guys in our community, Vince, bought a business, and it was doing 16 to 18,000 a month. That's now averaging 120,000 a month. Wow. Because he just, and you know Vince, right? Really humble, quiet guy, hardly says a word. But just a killer, But he bought it because he could see that it was just better to get a creator involved, and if necessary, buying one. And that's one of the big lessons that I think a lot of people got to learn, is that sometimes using money is really smart.
I also know, from my point of view, I know I'm a creator and it's a thing that I like to do. I get bored with it after that piece. I need to either sell it or move on, or like the ins and outs of doing the long-term hold of a business is not my thing. So I don't think I'll ever hold a business for a long term, because I like the startup bit, the ideas bit. Someone else that's better at the next stuff needs to do the next stuff.
You want to see the baby come into the world, and then that's it.
Feed it a few times and then give it away.
So let's, in the interest of time, the reason I really wanted you on tonight is, you've been with us for 4 years. There's a lot of people watching tonight that are starting out, they're getting their first product, they're about to go live, they're thinking of going live. And there's others that are 3 years in as well. Let's talk to the first group first, which is the people who are yet to sort of have their first $10,000 month, which is right now, as they're watching, feels like an amazing outcome, right? Which is great.
It is an amazing outcome.
It is an amazing outcome. You go from there and you double it to 20 and you double. So what have you learned over those 4 years? What would you do differently now, looking back on the 4-year journey? What would be your words of advice to your younger self?
Just start. I mean, you've got to just start, and everybody knows that these days. You have to just start with a product, but don't try and take in all the knowledge all at once. Just take it as you need it. Like, I went and did every single course lesson straight up. It's too much information. Just go step by step and trust the process. Follow the process. I mean, I've known you for a long time, and that's why I had no hesitation in doing what you were doing, because I went, I just want to do whatever Adam did, because then I'll get an outcome similar to that. And I literally just did what you told me to do in the course, and just followed the process step by step. And when I couldn't remember something, I'd go back to the course and I'd just do that bit. And I expected to make $10,000 a month. I did not expect to make $330,000 in a month. I did not expect that. In fact, to me, it was too much too soon. It was too crazy. So
it went nuts. I mean, you were in New York Magazine.
New York Times.
New York Times picked it up in their holiday gift guide. It's crazy.
And it's an exciting ride, but at the end of the day, it's not what I signed up for.
I couldn't believe when that happened, because you're at home in the sunny coast with your boy, and you pick up the New York Times and your product's sitting there in the holiday gift guide, recommended gifts. It just, that is the power of this kind of business. It blows my mind. So
$10,000 or $20,000 a month is a massive achievement, and I think you should aim for that. And not forget that, because it's really easy to get to $10,000 or $20,000 a month and go, oh, now I want 100, now I want 200, and see all these fantastic stories. And of course, it's great, but so is $10,000 or $20,000 a month.
With margin, it's great.
With margin, totally with margin.
You've got to get that margin in.
Aim to get product in, live, and then push your margin until you can get it to where you need it to be, and then aim for a little bit more, and then add another product in. And
I always say to people, the thing is, get live, get reviews, then think about getting a profit.
Yes.
And it'll be like, and then think about a patent.
Yeah.
So the patent,
yeah, no.
a design patent or a utility patent, that's after.
Yeah.
And this is what Raj said, right? I was selling shitloads of coffee grinders before I went and got a burr.
Yeah.
What was interesting with Raj, and I just want to talk about this for a second, he actually went to Eric, who's in our community. Eric, what's Eric's last name? Carriage, yeah, Eric Carriage. And he said to Eric, Eric, here's the coffee grinder I'm selling. If you can find something in there that we can patent or change and then patent, I'll pay you to do it.
Oh,
That's how he did it.
Ah.
So he went to Eric and said, which bit is the most likely bit to get a utility patent? And it was Eric that said, the burr. And so he then got the burrs out and then hired an engineer on Upwork, I think it was, to redesign the burrs in a way that it changed the way that coffee was ground, fundamentally how it was ground. And so it wasn't Raj, he was just smart enough to go to somebody who's in patents all day and incentivize, said, I'll pay for the patent work if you can tell me how to patent it. And then for a period there, he said, oh, if you want to get something patented, he'd say, talk to Eric, show him the product you want to sell, and let him figure out how to patent it. And I was like, wow, that's really, really smart.
Yeah. I mean, I always go into a product.
Yeah.
I'll find a product that I like or have an idea for a product, and I'll speak to my patent attorney before I do anything else and say, if I change this or if I do that, do you think I'll get a patent? And I've always had that conversation with him first, but I don't go ahead with the patent straight away. No. I'll usually create the product, put it into production, make it commercially viable or check that it's commercially viable, and then I'll put the patent in. And there's time frames that you have to do that in, but it's like a year. There's plenty of time to do that. So, but I'm always trying to make sure that I can cover my product somehow with IP. Okay. It just gives longevity of product, I think, because you put a lot of work in. You don't want someone to just come and chase it, but you also don't want to get bogged down in doing
patent paperwork
when you don't even on something that, yeah. There's always plenty of products.
There's always, and that's a really good point. When you first start out, people get so emotionally attached to one product.
So many products.
And you listened to Udi last night. He says, I just bought a bunch of stuff. A lot of stuff failed to get my money back and keep going. It's a totally different mindset. So we're going to go through one more thing with Ange, but I just want to remind you guys, we've got one more big announcement coming up tonight, shortly, and then we're going to close it out. And this is the big announcement. So stay with us. We're almost done. And we've got one more commercial break after this, then the announcement, then we're done for the night. So we're almost there. So today, what are you doing differently in your second brand? Is it, have you moved into high ticket stuff now, or what's different about your second one? So you had 3, sold 1, you got the original brand, you got a second one, and the third one you sold.
Yeah.
Tell us about the second brand, just not what it is, but just what did you do differently and why?
The new little second brand?
Yeah, the one you were telling me that had higher ticket items.
Oh, okay, so that's my original first brand.
Oh, but you bolted in some other products.
because I had planned to sell it. I had it all ready to go to sell it, and COVID hit. I made the decision. It was not a good time in my brain to sell a business. Looking back, probably could have, but so be it. But I then took that business and went, if I had bought this, what would I do with it? If I was a new buyer at this stage, what would I do with it? So I've moved into higher ticket items only because I wanted to push forward into e-commerce, and it made more sense to have some higher value ticket items for Shopify and whatnot, and just ease of making money. So instead of selling 10 products, I can sell 1 and make my profit margin. I can send containers, that sort of stuff. It's just more interesting to me.
Like Daniel and Felicia were saying, they've got 4 sales a day at $500 a sales, $2,000 a day business.
That's right. Yeah. So my intent is to I just pushed out the product range a little bit, made it more Shopify friendly, the product range, because I had some low value stuff. I just wanted to have some higher value stuff. Build out the brand just a little bit more with products that made sense for the brand. And I'm pushing into retail. I think I told you. Yeah, I've got a buyer's agent over in the States who's trying to get me into some big retailers.
So hang on, what's a buyer's agent for those watching?
So somebody who's going out to the retailers and looking for deals for me. So
they represent your products.
That's correct.
To the big retail chains.
That's correct.
How did they get paid?
I pay them a monthly retainer, and that's all.
It.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask how much that is?
At the moment, it's $500 a month US.
Oh wow, that's really affordable.
But they have not yet brought me a deal.
Right.
We've got a couple on the drawing board, but not at this point in time. I haven't got a deal from them.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, they don't take a commission on sale either later. Right. So, but we've got some that are, touch wood, pretty close. So, and big ones. So
Wow.
I've got Target in the
Wow.
States interested in a couple of the products.
Is that right?
Yeah.
How good is
Fingers
that?
crossed.
Yeah. And how did you
Yeah.
find that person?
It actually came through an email about this time last year, just someone looking, and then I rang him up. It's a small agency. I rang him up and had a good chat to him. He's got a couple other Australian clients. I spoke to one of those just to make sure he's legit.
Yeah.
And they've been really good. So,
awesome.
but like I said, I have not got a deal on the table yet.
Yeah.
So when that happens, you will know about it.
A couple of our students have got retail deals, which is really exciting to
Yeah, I've
know.
had small ones, but
Yeah.
not anything to this scale.
Yeah.
My intent is to get at least one over the line, get my Shopify store in order, get some traffic through that and prove that I can get some traffic to that.
Yeah.
Continue with the Amazon products and put in a few more and sell it off.
Yeah.
Sell it off on that kind of someone else to take.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm interested in the starting of them and the learnings and stuff. At this point, I want someone else to take it.
Yeah.
So, but
get it.
COVID is kind of in and out of stock. It's just, I couldn't sell it right now at what it's worth.
Yeah, interesting. Well, Angela, that's awesome. I love it. Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And
Love it.
for those of you who don't know Angela, look in the community. There's lots of great posts. If you've got past summit recordings, Angela, you've spoken at 2 summits now, I think, haven't you?
I
Melbourne,
think so.
and I think the first one as well.
Melbourne and Brisbane.
Melbourne and Brisbane.
Yep.
You might have spoken at 3. Two.
I don't know.
Angela's been around for ages, and
Don't know.
yeah, she's probably one of the most networked people, I think, in the community. And Eric's fast coming up behind you after last night.
Yeah.
Talking about putting his head on the chopping
Yeah.
block. Poor bastard, he's going to have his Facebook Messenger going all day and all night. But thank you so much, and it's going to be really interesting to see where you take this now. I love how you're branching into new environments now and taking those skills of sourcing, understand marketplace selling, now moving into direct selling and also wholesaling really to retail chains as well. It's pretty awesome to see.
It's fun.
It's fun.
Yeah.
All right, so there you have it. Angela started, just like many of you, bought the program, started from scratch, and grew it out into here on a whole different journey. So what we're going to do is run a quick, we're going to do the announcement, aren't we? We're going to do the announcement via video, I think. Let me just check. I think that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing, I'm pretty sure, yeah. So guys, we have a big announcement that we're going to make right now. We're going to do it by video in just a moment. And we're pretty pumped about this. So it's been a lot of work in behind the scenes, and it's going to be awesome. So what we might do is roll the tape. When we come back from rolling the tape, I will tell you all about the details and the next steps in all of that. And then we're going to be almost done for the night, which is going to be awesome. So Aaron and Cassie, let's roll the tape. Again, Ange, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And let's roll the tape. Earlier this year, we were all set to do the largest live Amazon conference in the history of this country, right here at the Gold Coast Convention and Exhibition Centre. And of course, well, the world had different plans for us. But I am pleased to announce that early in 2021, we will be doing the best, the largest, the most strategic Amazon virtual summit in the world. We have an incredible lineup of speakers to get you guys fired up and focused in 2021. We have people like Mark DePola, who just this week posted his result of over $150,000 in a month. We've got people like Vince, who's going to be coming in and talking to you about how he bought an Amazon FBA business that was averaging about $16,000 to $20,000 a month and how he grew it to over $100,000 a month average sales. We've got people like Bernard, one of the fastest students ever to break US $20,000 a month. We've got business brokers who specialize in selling Amazon businesses coming in to talk to you, and a whole bunch more. You can see all the amazing speakers we've got lined up for this incredible event. Now guys, we are at a very unique time now in the e-commerce and Amazon world. Things have changed. People have migrated. The market is now poised to live into this new reality, this new world that is going to be dominated by e-commerce marketplaces and e-commerce sellers. If you are ready If you are excited about building something special in this new decade, then you must be at this virtual event that is coming up early in 2021, which is going to be here in just a minute. So look at the information around this video, look at all the amazing speakers and get your tickets now. It is going to set you up and set you on a path to an incredible 2021 and beyond. And welcome back. So there you have it, guys. We are so excited about this event early in the new year. Now, we were oh so close to doing a physical tour, but unfortunately, the risk is just still too high to contract out on these events with the state of border closures, open and close, on and off again. It's only a few weeks away now until the virtual summit, and we thought we can't take the risk. We've got to put it together. We've got to make a decision. And we are really, really excited about what's coming down the pipe for you with this particular virtual summit. And I want to mention that this event is being planned specifically for the virtual environment. We're going to have a crossover between the physical and the virtual. It's going to be, and you'll learn more about this as time goes by, but it's going to be an awesome, awesome event. Now, one thing I want to mention right up front here before I give you guys some more details about what's coming at this event, there are some of you watching tonight that have a credit with us from the physical summit earlier this year. And I first of all want to say thank you for the patience that you have shown and for your original support of the summit as it was. So you guys will be receiving an email tomorrow on Friday which outlines all the options for you. But very simply, you can use that credit towards this virtual summit. You can use it towards the Shopify program if you'd like, or any of our other courses, or indeed you can ask for a refund. No problem at all. Whichever option best suits you, you'll get an email tomorrow outlining all of that for you. We know exactly who you are. We've got you all on the list, and we know the status of the things that you bought and what you bought for the summit. So keep an eye out for that email, and we would love to work with you. So to be clear, on this event, I want to give you some of the details right now. The dates of this event are going to be from February 19th to the 21st. That's Friday to Sunday, 3 days. If you've enjoyed the last 2 nights, this is a taste test compared to what you're going to get over those 3 days. Our summits are legendary. Our virtual summit that we did for the first time earlier this year, people were raving about it, and they absolutely loved it because you could sit at home, you could take notes, you didn't have the expense of travel or any of that stuff. I know we're all itching to get back into rooms, but when we got the contracts for these events, we had to seat people 4 or 5 seats apart. There was all sorts of clauses if there's border closures. It's just all too messy right now. But the virtual summit is going to be awesome, as it was earlier this year. As I said, you can look at the mega thread from the virtual summit earlier this year, and people absolutely loved it. So the date, February 19th to the 21st. The price of the virtual summit is just $279 US, which is about $397 Australian. So it's $297 US is the super early bird price, or you can buy it with the recordings for just under $379 US dollars. So you can get the event and the recordings are only $100 extra. US dollars, that is. So it's about $400 Aussie for just the virtual summit. Now, that offer closes on the 13th of December. So in 2 weeks' time, the tickets will go up to that event. This is one of those times, guys, where you want to get yourself in the room. Now, the one thing I want to mention to all students here is that these summits take a lot of time and effort and curation, a lot more than you realize, even when they're virtual, just to put them on, all the time of going in and putting the speakers together, curating the content, and all the other bits and pieces go on. It is important that if you're attending the summit, you buy a ticket for you to attend the summit, right? That is the one thing. I don't want to see people getting groups of 10, you all sit around the telly and one person pays for the summit ticket. That's not the way we do things at Reliable Education. We pay our way. We are a business and it costs money to open the doors of this business. So please, if you're going to come, get yourself a ticket and be there. And if you want to get together with your mastermind and watch it together and have a party, great. Just make sure everybody's paid for the knowledge, because that's our business. I promise you this, for $390 Aussie, it will be the best $390 you can spend on your education in 2021. The people that we have coming, we've got Angela coming to do a whole session on what she's been up to lately. We've got Eric, who was here last night for only 20 minutes. We've got Eric as a keynote speaker talking about how he built his wealth, what he looks for in investments, how he built what he's built, which is extraordinary, from high-rise towers to deca-millionaire companies, just extraordinary. We've got Florian coming in, one of our top coaches who coaches our Amazon students around the world. We've got Andrew from Melbourne. Andrew is an incredibly seasoned e-commerce seller, Andrew Wilkinson. Andrew built his company called True Local. He sold it to Rupert Murdoch's company, News Corporation. He's one of our students and a terrific guy. He's going to be talking at the virtual summit about starting and scaling startups, which is going to be awesome. We have also got Kim Liedman coming in from the Sunshine Coast, talking about how to use inventory financing through his company, FIFO Capital, which is going to be awesome. It shows you how to get funding without any personal security over your assets, secured against the inventory that's going into Amazon, which is going to be awesome. We've got Bernard Morrison coming in from Adelaide. Bernard is such a cool guy, really logical, very practical, has that real Midas touch with choosing products. He was one of our fastest students to ever reach $20,000 in a month in sales. We've got Mark DiPolo coming to speak to us, who just this month broke 160,000 or just under US dollars, telling us his story, all the ins and outs of how he got there. Vince Betham, who you just saw on the trailer there. Vince was the financial controller for TradeMe.co.nz, which was the biggest IPO in New Zealand's history at the time it went public. Vince was the CFO, overseeing all the financial aspects of the company. He's a student. He bought an Amazon FBA business doing about 16 to 18,000 a month, now averaging 120,000 a month. He spent the last 5 months just touring around New Zealand with his family. We've got Melissa Coates, Melissa Davies coming in from Western Australia. Melissa is an awesome student, such a lovely, nice person, and has absolutely dominated in her category on Amazon, literally beaten some of the biggest brands in the world because of the care and attention and passion and love that she has put into her product. Also from Western Australia, we've got Matt and Sharon, who are white rhinos from out there in Western Australia, coming to speak for the first time. Melissa will be speaking for the first time. Vince speaking for the first time. Mark DiPolo, first time. Bernard Morrison, first time. All brand new speakers for this virtual summit. We've also got panels, which we're going to be announcing shortly. We've got a special guest who's coming in to talk to you guys about how to get government grant money, the exact steps. Has already helped students secure hundreds of thousands of dollars. Our students, hundreds of thousands of dollars in free grant money from the government. You don't have to repay it. It's not a loan. It is a gift for you to grow your business. And we've also got another speaker coming in who specializes in selling businesses, Amazon FBA businesses. So that's going to be incredible. If you want to learn from the broker side what makes for an outstanding Amazon exit and what types of things you have to have in line from one of the most successful business brokers in the space, will be coming in and talking to us as well. And we've got Justin and Julia coming in from Sydney, who are traditional brick and mortar retailers, first-time speakers at our summits, who are recent Rhino winners and terrific, human, lovely people going to come in and talk to us. We've got some of our repeat people like Annika Jepson, who hasn't spoken. I don't think Annika's actually spoken before, has she? I think it's what's that? She's been on a panel, but she hasn't given a talk before. So she's got some really highly tactical stuff that she's going to be talking to. So she's a first-time speaker as well. It's just an amazing lineup of people who started exactly like you, bought the course, and have gone on to be Rhino, double Rhino, triple Rhino, white Rhino winners, as well as people who've just gotten to the first $10,000 and $20,000 in sales as well. It will be 3 days that will set you up for the year just so incredibly strongly. And of course, I'll be speaking as well, and getting fired up as I tend to do when I speak from time to time. So it's going to be an incredible opportunity. There's going to be a lot of why-to and a lot of how-to there as well. And we love these events. We're going to bring the fire, bring the passion, bring the strategies, and it's going to cost you just a few $100s, and you can do it from home. But there's also going to be one other thing that we're going to reveal at this event, which is a whole new focus on bringing to life the power of our network, really igniting the power of our network. We've had a project running this year for the first time that we're going to tell you about next year, and how you too can access it. So if you literally want to start partnering with people, you'll have an opportunity, which we'll be announcing at that event, of how you can literally, if you want to get into commercial property, how you can partner and network with people who've got money and have intent to invest in commercial property as syndicates. We're going to be talking about that. We're going to be talking about how you can partner, like if you want to partner with someone like Angela, who is a creator, and you've got money and you want to work with somebody who's a proven creator. We're going to be talking about how we're going to be facilitating that in 2021 so that we can really ignite properly the power of this community, which hopefully you are starting to see over the last few weeks with the RE 2020 campaign, and tonight with how much value is in this group of people. And I want you guys to be turning up this time next year at this virtual summit, ready as that new person, ready to play a bigger game in 2021, ready to collaborate and say, I've got money, but I don't have the creative skill, or I've got the creative skill, but I don't have enough money, or I want to get into this area or that area, and be willing to play, to get down off the stands, hand in your tickets and get in the ring and start getting paid. And so that's what I'm going to be driving for next year, because next year is about moving the spectators into the cauldron and getting you guys down there and getting paid for being here. So in order to get your tickets, you just need to go to the link that's on screen, rel.link/Rhino School. Someone once said to me that in life, this is an old wise man, he said, there are 3 things you have to have a happy life. Number 1, you have to have something to do. Number 2, you have to have somebody to love. And number 3, you have to have something to look forward to. So using your Rhino strength, your decision-making power, never leave the scene of the opportunity without taking action. Go and book yourself into Rhino School. That is what the name of this virtual summit is, Rhino School. Do it right now. If you are in credit with us because you hold a ticket and you want to transfer it, wait till tomorrow when you get your email from the team, and our team will help you transfer that whatever credit is over and refund the difference or apply it to whatever else you might want. Just look out for that email. But let's get the tickets bought. Let's get the numbers on the board. Let's get the commitment going so we can start working that team of us that are going to go there and show up and get ready to smash it in 2021 between the 19th and the 21st of February. So that is, my friends, the end of night number 2 for the 2020 Reliable Education Accelerator. We hope that you have loved hanging out with us over the last 2 nights. Get your Shopify course, get your butt in the seat for the virtual 3-day event coming up in February. We're going to celebrate all our new 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, 100,000 and White Rhino winners. We're going to celebrate them live from right here in the studios all around the world, and let's be resolved to reinvent ourselves out of tonight, to reimagine ourselves out of tonight, and not lose sight of that little voice that became a loud voice when I got up in your face earlier that said, yes, that's me. And you can feel it in your bones that there is a higher, better version of you waiting. Lean into that voice. Make friends with that voice. Encourage that voice out of you. And let's march into the new year with 2020 behind us, take the great things from it, leave the bad things behind, and be guardian at our minds at the gates of our ambition, because we have so much to do. We're in the right place at the right time with the right people. So let's go get it. Thank you for watching, everybody. Have a beautiful evening out there. I'll see you on USpot, or I'll see you in the Facebook group really, really soon, and keep an eye out. Remember, before you leave, drop a comment. Let us know what you got out of this accelerator. Leave it below. Give some love up to Angela. Give some love up to Raj. Give some love up to the team, everybody who spoke here tonight. What did you get out of it? Document it now in the comments, and then get your butt over to rel.link/Rhino School, so you've got something to look forward to in February, so that we can meet again and make a better you together. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.